Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Hokage. This sign-in system is bit tricky. Chapter 1. Ding. Congratulations to host for signing in successfully and gaining the ability, Miniature Shuriken Throwing Grandmaster. In a small forest in Konoha village, an indescribable force swept through the body of the night wind. Subsequently, a lot of information about the miniature shuriken throwing technique appeared in Yifang's mind. So far, Yifang has gathered all sizes of shuriken throwing grandmaster. But this didn't make Yifang happy at all, but it made him feel a little embarrassed. System, it's almost 2 years since I activated you when I was 5 years old. In the past 2 years, let me say that I have completed a dozen tasks. But you can see for yourself these rewards you gave me. Shuriken throws Grandmaster, Kunai throws Grandmaster, Senbon throws Grandmaster. Can you still take the size as an argument? Don't your conscience hurt? That's all. What I can't stand the most is that there are actually nails throwing Grandmaster, pencil throwing Grandmaster. In the eyes of your system, everything can be thrown. Yifang sat down on the ground, and kept spitting out in his mind. Actually, it's not that Yifang looked down on Wu Kai and Killer Bee. Only, this system allowed Yifang Grandmaster to perform so many hidden weapon throwing techniques. Is it possible that during the Fourth World War, Yifang could give Otsutsuki a shuriken of the right size from 800 miles away? Isn't this funny? System, you don't know what I'm most lacking now. I'm not in good health, the efficiency of refining chakra is very low, and the amount of chakra that can be stored in the meridian is even more limited. Can't learn. Yifang sighed. The first test for admission to the ninja school is chakra. Although physical ninjas like Shaoli and Might Guy who cannot use ninjutsu can also enter school smoothly. But even the ninja of physique has to have chakra, right? And Yifang's aptitude for chakra is really terrible. For example, if a normal ninja consumes 10 points of stamina, 1 point of chakra can be extracted. Nightwind needs to consume at least 1000 points. So, with Yifang's current physique, if you forcefully practice chakra, you will easily hollow out your body. Besides, the meridians of the night wind are also very narrow. Normally, the amount of chakra he can store is also dozens of times less than normal. In other words, even if Yifang risked his body to be hollowed out, he stored a chakra. Finally, maybe a body replacement technique runs out, and chakra will bottom out. With a physique like this, it is almost impossible for Yifang to become a ninja if you don't open it up. Not to say how good it is to be a ninja. But in Konoha village, if you can't become a ninja, there is no chance to leave the village. Can't leave the village. The check-in location of the night wind can only be limited to the Konoha village. But if you always sign in Konoha village, the ghost knows what else he will throw at the Grandmaster in the future. So, Yifang still had to find a way to become a ninja. Please take care of the host. The sign-in location is changed by the luck of heaven and earth. This system only helps the host to open the luck lock and realize the reward. It cannot create rewards out of thin air. After listening to the explanation of the system, Yifang showed a very disdainful look. So, you guy called the super sign-in system is just a rewarded porter. I believe you a ghost. He calmed down for a while. Yifang is ready to go home. But at this moment, the pit cargo system has released a new sign-in task. Ding. Host, please go to the 5th boulder on the left front of the Moonlight Falls in the number 23 forest of Konoha village immediately to sign in. After Yifang listened to the task released by the system, he couldn't help sighing. Such a wonderful and convoluted sign-in location. There is no one, but anyway, able to activate 2 sign-in tasks consecutively within 1 day. It's almost like winning a big prize. Although the reward is slightly pitted. But it's better than no task. Arrive at the check-in location. Yifang stood on the 5th rock described in the system. System, give me some strength. Yifang murmured. However, the system did not sound the reminder to start sign-in as usual. Yifang frowned. Did you lose the chain at a critical time? Just as Yifang was about to ask the system a question. Suddenly, a fierce wind came from behind the night wind. There are hidden weapons. Yifang has long been the Grandmaster's various hidden weapons. Combining together can also comprehend by analogy. This allowed Yifang to possess the level of a hidden weapon master. So, when the night wind finds that the sound of the wind is not right, He has turned over and left the place several times in a row, and has moved away from the enemy. At the same time, the stone that Yifeng had just stood on suddenly turned into a cloud of white mist with a bang. The white mist dissipated. A ninja who couldn't see the village appeared in Yifeng's line of sight. Ha! Konoha village really deserves to be the number one ninja village in the ninja world. The transformation technique I am so proud of was actually seen through by a kid. Haha, sure, I have told you that this is not working. If you can't hide it from a little kid, how can you fool the one from Konoha village? Two ninjas appeared in Yifeng's sight. One has just been disguised as a stone. The other is a person hiding in the dark and attacking Yifeng with hidden weapons. Little devil, although you are very pitiful, our whereabouts are never allowed to be leaked out, so next, you can only go to death and tell your last words. There was a burst of coldness in Shour's eyes. As if in his eyes, Yifeng has turned into an icy corpse. Facing each other's gaze, Yifeng frowned and sighed. Actually, I didn't see that you had become a stone, nor did I know what you were going to do, let alone know you. So, or else, give you a chance to change it again. Everyone treats everything. It didn't happen. I'm still a child after all. Ha, little devil, I think your brain is flooded. What's wrong with the child? There are too many children who died in the hands of Lousy, and you are the one. Shu Lin sneered again and again. But, not waiting for Shu'er to finish, Yifeng has already taken action. Swipe. Yifeng's body was in the air, his hands flying. The miniature shuriken that had been secretly buckled in his hand was thrown out by him in an instant. The miniature shuriken was very fast, and with a sound of breaking through the air, it attacked and killed the two ninjas. Ha, as a kid, you can be such a grandmaster concealed weapon. Among the little kids, I would like to call you the strongest. The bodies of the two ninjas suddenly rose up, swayed in the air, and easily avoided the hidden weapon attack of the night wind, and then began to talk. But, Yifeng didn't pay much attention to this. He grabbed a handful of chinbin with both hands again. It's still the same as before, throwing at the two enemies. To this, Shu Xiao sneered again and again. I told you about it, kid. Attacks like this are of no effect to adults at all. The two ninjas then easily escaped the attack of the night wind just like before. But, the moment they landed, suddenly a jingling sound rang behind them. Shu Wei twisted her neck reluctantly. He saw that the chinbin that Yifeng threw out for the second time had all hit the shuriken that was stuck on the rock for the first time. Shuriken and Senbon hit each other. The miniature shuriken inserted into the rock for the first time actually flew again. Under the impact of various hidden weapons. Among them, two shurikens were shot at two ninjas with lightning speed. Puff! The sharp shuriken pierced the neck arteries of the two ninjas with ease. Yifeng completed the first kill. After the person died, Yifeng walked to the two corpses and sighed. Hey, isn't it good to be alive? They all said I would give you a chance, but I don't want it. In the world of Hokage ninja, although the ninja possesses superhuman power, but in fact, they just have a higher attack power, and their defense is no different from that of a mortal. In the absence of defense at all, 1,000 books, a handful of suffering, even a nail, can easily kill a ninja. Even cage-level masters are no exception. Yifeng looked coldly at the two ninjas lying in a pool of blood. Swallowed. Kill. It is not an easy task, especially when the opponent dies. The body is not static. The kind of special reactions that nerves and muscles make only after a person's death, constantly stimulating and washing the spiritual world of the night breeze. But, Yifeng did not choose to escape. Because Yifeng knows that in such a world, killing is a compulsory course. Only, this class came earlier than Yifeng expected. People who come to the village to post tasks are usually followed by ninjas. These two people should have sneaked in secretly. Could it be Cloud Shinobi or Rock Shinobi's spy? Wrong. If it is a pure spy, it is impossible to break through the barrier of Konoha village unless someone is secretly colluding. Could it be the Pot King? Think of Konoha's Pot King Danzo. Yifeng's face instantly became serious. If it is really related to Danzo, then it is better for him to leave here quickly. Ding. It has been detected that the host has arrived at the check-in location, and now the check-in starts. The countdown starts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.0. Congratulations to host for signing in successfully and getting the Uzumaki Bloodline feature. Boom, the majestic and indescribable power appeared again. This experience is the same as usual. There is no difference. But, after this force disappeared, Yi Feng obviously felt that his body had undergone significant changes. Although the muscle strength has not increased too much. But the vitality in the cells has been enhanced, and the meridians have become a little stronger than before. Haha, the system, did you say that you were not controlling the backstage? I just complained and sent me the Vortex Bloodline. You said you didn't control it secretly, anyway I wouldn't believe it. Although the system did not take care of the night breeze. But Yi Feng's mood is still very comfortable. But he did not immediately check the changes in his body, but quickly rushed towards the village. After all, it is very unsafe to stay here. After half an hour. Swipe. 3 figures appeared at the place where Yi Feng killed. The person headed. White bandages were wrapped around his face and right arm. His face was furious. At first glance, it is clear that it is not a good kind. Master Danzo, the person is already dead, and the time of death is probably within an hour. The corpse has only 1 wound on its neck. It should have been killed by a sneak attack from behind with some kind of micro-hidden weapon. Judging from the wound, the murderer Grandmaster's hidden weapon assassination technique. A masked genin carefully inspected the corpse on the ground, and respectfully reported the result to Danzo. Shimura Danzo groaned for a moment, and a sense of coldness could be seen in his left eye. He passed the corpse, walked in front of a 2-meter-high stone, touched the shuriken mark left on it, and fell into contemplation. As a master, could it be that the Orochimaru thing has been discovered by Hiruzen? He secretly sent the Anbu elite to get rid of them, and deliberately left the body as a warning to me. Think of this layer. Danzo squinted his eyes. Go and check, within an hour, has anyone haunted this forest? Yes, Lord Danzo. Hear Danzo's orders. This genin immediately took out a scroll from his arms. Open. Jayin. It is a long-distance transmission of ninjutsu. Master Danzo, about 10 minutes ago, someone saw a child about 7 years old leave this forest. Oh, child, who is it? Could it be that Hiruzen has failed to recruit a genius like Uchiha Itachi? Shimura Danzo was slightly surprised. It seems to be Yamanaka Keiichi's eldest son, Yamanaka Yeka's. Yamanaka Night Wind. Shimura Danzo frowned. Yes, Master Danzo, do you want to get him back and torture him? A ray of fierce light flashed in the eyes of Gen Shinobu. Danzo glanced at him coldly and said quietly, no, the old man has some impressions of him. Although this kid has the yin and yang, 5 elements and 7 chakra attributes, he is a waste who can't refine chakra normally. The old man who killed Orochimaru can get Orochimaru back to soak in wine. Dispose of the body, let's go back first. Yes, Lord Danzo. Yamanaka Keiichi is the patriarch of the Konoha Yamanaka clan. Yi Feng is the eldest son of Yamanaka Keiichi, Yamanaka Ino's brother. Although the blood of the Yamanaka clan has nothing to do with Otsutsuki. But Yi Feng is the son of the chief patriarch. This start is not bad in itself. Unfortunately, Yi Feng's mother had a fetal gas when she was pregnant with him. Causes physical problems after the birth of the Night Wind. Of course, if physique simply refers to muscles and bones, it can be compensated by post-care and training. After all, the Yamanaka clan is also a big family in Konoha village. As the son of the patriarch, Yi Feng has no shortage of resources. But, in the Hokage ninja world, chakra is king. There is a very unique chakra system in the ninja. Through the special chakra refining technique, they can extract life energy from human cells and use it to combine with their own spiritual energy. The combined product is chakra. Chakra is stored in the meridians. When using it, as long as the ninja guides chakra to change through the knot, he can use the 5-flower 8-gate ninjutsu. So, the efficiency of extracting chakra and the number of chakra that can be carried by the meridians directly determine the strength of the ninja. The Night Wind is weak. It happens to be the 2 most critical aspects. It can be said, under normal circumstances, Yi Feng must have nothing to do with the ninja. But, the situation is different now. Ninja's chakra system is very dependent on blood. After the Night Breeze integrates the blood characteristics of the Uzumaki clan, the efficiency of refining chakra will gradually increase, and the originally weak meridians will also develop twice. After all, the Uzumaki clan has a very strong talent for chakra. Just give the Night Wind enough time. He can definitely solve his own problems completely. And, the most important thing is not the improvement of blood. But Yefeng's pit cargo system finally stopped pitting. After all, the system is the real support of the Night Wind. Go home. Mother and sister are preparing dinner. If nothing happens, Yamanaka Keiichi will still be unable to come back for dinner because of his busy schedule. Brother, you have gone out to fool around again, look at your stinky sweat. Ino helped her mother wash the dishes, and saw the Night Breeze sweating profusely, frowning. The Night Breeze came in, put the ninja bag in the locker next to the entrance, smiled and shook his head. Ino, I have told you how many times, this is spiritual practice, not nonsense. Ino is a famous beauty in Hokage. But, Yifeng and her are brothers and sisters. Orthopedics is absolutely impossible. Brother, didn't I tell you that after I become a ninja, I will protect you? Can't you enjoy your life steadily? Why do you have to let yourself live so hard? Ino wiped off the water stains on his hands and walked to Yifeng with a look of tsunere, and he accused Yifeng very seriously. Isn't it fragrant to be the young master of a big family down to earth? Why go out to practice all day? If it's Shikamaru, that annoying person. He guessed he was eager to make salted fish. Okay, I see, our Ino will definitely become an excellent jonin in the future, and my brother will rely on Ino in the future. Yifeng smiled and scratched his sister's nose. His eyes are full of doting. Do you have to rely on Ino to protect him in the future? Just forget it. After all, the future Ten Tails canon has to be solved by Night Wind. Okay, Ino, let your brother take a bath first, and the two of us will cook. The mother put down the ingredients in her hand, smiled and walked in front of the two brothers and sisters, and embraced the son and daughter in her arms. Ha, I did it for my brother, but you don't believe me at all when you look at him. I want to cook fried deer steak for him. Ino pouted, pretending to be angry. See this scene. Yifeng and his mother couldn't help laughing. Okay, I'm going to take a bath first. Remember to put more spicy deer chops, put more cumin, and fry them a little bit more burnt on both sides. Yifeng waved his hand and walked into the bathroom. Prepare bath water. Yifeng poured in the secret potion made by the Yamanaka clan. Medicinal baths are very important for ninjas, and they are also very expensive. But, although Yifeng's qualifications are very poor, Yamanaka Keiichi never materially restricts the Night Wind. After all, it's a sun. Adjust the water temperature to just right. Yifeng lay in the bathtub. Soak the body completely in the potion. The mild medicinal power penetrates the body along the pores. Ease the fatigue of the day. Replenishes the vitality lost in the cells. No loss as the vortex bloodline, it can almost use the power of the medicine to the ultimate. Yifeng lay comfortably in the bathtub, thinking about the future. The bloodline problem is finally solved, then, you have to have chakra refining. Yifeng took a scoop of hot water, poured it on his body, and shook his head. Come, go to the cutting tool shop to buy the civilian version of the refining technique. Will the effect be too bad? In the world of Hokage ninja, anyone in the past can practice chakra as long as the physique still speaks of it. But, if you want to refine chakra, you must practice chakra refinement. There are many versions of chakra refinery. The effect has its own high and low, although there is no clear classification. But, the ordinary chakra refining techniques that are spread on the market, in the eyes of Yifeng, are basically equivalent to the bronze level. The effect is very poor. Not only the efficiency of refining chakra is very low, even the refined chakra is not good enough. And ancient families like the Yamanaka clan naturally possesses a very perfect chakra refining technique. But, when Yifeng was 5 years old, Yamanaka Keiichi turned around technique to control the Night Wind, and tried to extract chakra. The good news is, his own son may have 7 chakra attributes. The bad news is, Yamanaka Keiichi only extracted a small amount of chakra at the time, and almost killed Yifeng. After that, Yifeng lay on the bed for 3 full months before he recovered. Yamanaka Keiichi also gave up his son's plan to practice chakra. Even if you want to practice, you have to wait until you are older and look at the situation. So, if Yi Feng wants to find his father, he needs a family secret technique. I'm afraid it won't work, even if Yi Feng told his father that his physique had improved. Yamanaka Hayaki still won't try, because he couldn't bear it. But this is understandable. After all, for things like blood aptitude, are you improving when you say it is improved? The odds are too low. Hey, it looks like I can only find Uncle Feng at night. On the table, the night breeze feasted on the deer chops carefully roasted for him by his sister. It's like a stray cloud in the wind. Today's venison is not bad. It was delivered by Uncle Luju. Yi Feng asked as he ate it. Hee, you know that your mouth is the most tricky. It is indeed from your Uncle Luju. The entrance exam is about to come, so you two brothers and sisters can make up for it. My mother was very happy to see that Yi Feng was eating very fragrantly. Whether you can become a ninja is actually not important. The important thing is, a family can live happily together. Brother, do you really want to take the entrance exam this time? But Ino hesitated to speak. As usual, as long as the children of Konoha village are 6 years old, they can sign up for the entrance examination of the ninja school. But want to pass the exam, must meet certain qualifications. But if its older brother really can, the sky is getting dark. Yi Feng carried a large bag of venison, left the house, and walked towards the outskirts of the Yamanaka clan. It didn't take long. The night wind stopped in front of an unremarkable house. Dang dang, knock on the door. Uncle Feng, go home. After the door knocked 3 times, the door opened. A handsome ninja with brown hair walked out of the room. He glanced at Yi Feng, frowned slightly, and asked, Yi Feng, come to me so late, what's the matter? His name is Yamanaka Feng, which is only one word from Yi Feng. Yamanaka Kase is the younger brother of Yamanaka Keiichi, Yi Feng's uncle. His identity is Anbu Jonin. But these are just his identities on the bright side. The true identity of Yamanaka Feng is Danzo's, the elite in the roots of Shinobu. Speaking of, Yamanaka Win's final fate was miserable. He was taken alive by Yakushi Kabuto as a sacrifice to impure world reincarnation. That kind of horror, except for other living people who are treated as sacrifices, I am afraid that no one can understand. So, for such people, at first, Yi Feng didn't want to contact him too much. But after all, the two are relatives and nephews. It is impossible to say that there is no contact at all. Over time, one is the night wind of the two lives. One is the root forbearance of mordant feelings. The two of them became friends somehow. At this time, although Yamanaka Feng's expression was a bit cold, but Ye Feng knew, Yamanaka Feng is really worried about what troubles the night wind will encounter. That's why I came to him so late. In fact, it's nothing. The Nara family delivered a batch of good venison today, the kind that is not available in the market, so I specially sent you some. After all, you who make Anbu consume a lot of money every day. Quote. Yi Feng smiled and shook the venison in his hand. The Nara family has raised deer for generations. The deer they raise have extremely high medicinal value. Venison contains very strong vitality. For the ninja, it is simply a tonic. Yamanaka Feng glanced at Yi Feng, took the venison, and said quietly, come in, it's windy outside. After speaking, Yamanaka Feng turned and walked towards the house. Yi Feng turned to look around, smiled and shrugged. Is it windy? After entering the door, Yi Feng sat on the sofa in the living room. Uncle Feng, even if you are Anbu, you don't have to bring a knife at home. Look at the Itachi from Uchiha's family, who is also Anbu. When there is no task, they seem to be very relaxed. Yi Feng sighed. In the eyes of the night wind, Yamanaka Feng's nerves seemed to be tight forever. I really don't understand why he chose to follow Danzo in the first place. Isn't it good to be an elite ninja of the Yamanaka clan? Anbu is different from Anbu. It's not comparable. Yamanaka put the venison in the refrigerator blankly, and asked casually, I think there should be other things to come to me so late. Yes, I won't go around with you anymore. I plan to practice chakra from now on, but I don't have superior chakra refining skills, so I need you to help me. Yi Feng laughed. Chakra refining technique. Yamanaka frowned and sat down opposite Ye Feng. Have you forgotten what happened 2 years ago, and now you want to practice chakra? Are you going to die? Yi Feng smiled. Pick up a hip flask from the table. Gurgling, strong liquor enters the throat. The pungent fire line made him regain some of the feeling of his previous life. Put down the hip flask. Yi Feng said quietly. Uncle Feng, you just said that it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was drunk when I was drunk, but what about now? No, Yamanaka Feng shook his head decisively, and also took a sip from the flask. Cultivating chakra and drinking are two different things. You should understand that I can't help you with this matter. Yi Feng also smiled. He took back the flask from Yamanaka-kaza's hand. There was a flash of light in the eyes. Of course I understand what you said, and it is for this reason that I came here to ask you for help. Because only you can trust me as a child. Little kid is a kid no matter how good it is. Especially during the peace years. The 7-year-old child of other people's family is still playing soy sauce. But Yi Feng has been practicing various cutting tools since he was 4 years old. All of these, Yamanaka winds all in his eyes. Yi Feng is indeed different from other people's children. So, I don't know when it started. Yamanaka Wind no longer treats the night wind as a child. Uncle Feng, you know my personality, and I will definitely not give up on things that I have decided. If you don't help me, I can only go to the cutting tool shop and buy that kind of bad street goods. Can you bear it? Quote. Yamanaka K's sighed, facing the night wind. Even if Yamanaka K's is a killer with no emotions, sometimes he feels a little helpless. Moreover, I have always done everything with a sense of measure. Since I have come to you for help, I must be certain of my body. I can definitely practice chakra normally and become a ninja. Yi Feng said again. Looking at Yi Feng's determined appearance, Yamanaka Feng finally relented. The chakra refining technique I practice is exclusive to Anbu. It is too overbearing and not suitable for you, nor can it be taught to outsiders casually. Although the techniques of the Yamanaka clan are relatively mild, I cannot disclose it to you without your father's permission. This is also the rule. So, I can only provide you with some of the chakra extraction techniques that I have collected, those of the fallen family. These skills may not be as good as the Yamanaka clan, but they are better than ordinary ninjas. Finished, Yamanaka Feng took out a large stack of scrolls from the cabinet and placed them in front of Yi Feng. The declining family. Yi Feng suddenly brightened his eyes and asked, are there any from the Senju clan? Hear the inquiry of the night wind. Yamanaka Feng gave him an angry look and said, as the Senju family down? Don't forget, there is a Princess Tsunade in the Senju family's home. Yi Feng nodded. Indeed, although there is only one Tsunade left in the pure blood of the Senju clan. But, as long as Tsunade is willing, she can reinvigorate the Senju family on her own. It's just that the blood of the next generation is not so pure. Is this a technique of the Uzumaki clan? Yi Feng picked it up for a long time. Suddenly found a familiar pattern in the scroll. That is the pattern of the Uzumaki clan. Yamanaka Feng glanced at the scroll in Yi Feng's hand, shook his head, and said, the blood of the Uzumaki clan is very special and not suitable for us to practice. The bloodline characteristic of the Uzumaki family is super vitality. Their techniques are also developed around this characteristic. So, normal people are indeed not suitable for practicing the techniques of the Uzumaki clan. But the night wind is different. Although he does not have a pure Uzumaki bloodline. But, with the help of the system, Yi Feng already possesses the characteristics of the Uzumaki bloodline. This chakra refining technique of the Uzumaki clan is right for him. Uncle Feng, just this one. You know that my situation is special. Maybe Uzumaki's method is more suitable for me. Yi Feng smiled disapprovingly. The scroll was opened. Look through it for himself. Don't be fooling around. You should have understood the principle of extracting chakra. How can your situation be the same as that of the Uzumaki clan? Yamanaka Feng shook his head. But, just when Yamanaka Feng was preparing to teach Night Wind to teach him the essentials of practicing chakra refining art, suddenly, Yi Feng's momentum suddenly began to rise. Although his face suddenly turned pale. But, an invisible cyclone appeared around him. See this scene appear. Yamanaka Feng's face was surprised. This, so pure chakra, how is this possible? A layer of sweat was secreted on Yi Feng's forehead. Although he looked a little tired, he was very excited. Uncle Feng, look, I didn't lie to you, I really succeeded. although the cell energy and mental energy in Yifeng's body were consumed a lot at once. But, at this moment, an incomparably pure chakra is flowing in the meridians of the night breeze. Although not much, but that feeling made Yifeng feel very comfortable. Eat this soldier's food pill first. Yamanaka Feng hurriedly took out a superb Liangliang pill and handed it to Yifeng, then sternly said, "You are too foolish. I haven't taught you how to practice chakra extraction, so you actually try it yourself. Don't kill me." Yamanaka Feng's performance really surprised Yamanaka Feng. Chakra is a kind of energy. Under the premise of a considerable amount, whoever has the pure chakra will naturally have stronger ninjutsu. Yamanaka Feng carefully inspected the chakra in Yifeng's body. This kind of purity, let alone a child, is rare even for Jonin. Could it be that, did your elder nephew really inspire a very special bloodline characteristic? Haha, I just couldn't hold back it, but fortunately, there is no big problem. Now you can teach me. Yifeng took the Bingliang pill in one sip, and the strong medicinal fragrance spread out in his mouth, and he instantly felt much better in spirit. Hey, you must remember that the process of refining chakra is not trivial. Every time you practice, you must prepare in advance before you can gradually extract it. You must not be careful to damage the foundation like just now. Yamanaka K's sighed. Then, he carefully explained to Yifeng the essentials of cultivating chakra refining technique. After listening to Yamanaka Feng's explanation, Yifeng frowned and asked, "It's so troublesome to refine chakra. If that's the case, wouldn't it be very dangerous for the ninjas to run out of Vice Admiral chakra in battle?" Yamanaka said seriously, "Chakra is the root of a ninja, and it is naturally dangerous if you run out. However, after you have cultivated chakra extraction art to great success, you can also refine it while fighting. However, the battle situation of the ninja is changing rapidly. If you want to refine chakra in the battle, it is much more dangerous than the normal state. If you are not careful, you may hurt your body. So you have to practice harder in daily life." Quote, Yifeng nodded. Look at the case where Kakashi has to go to the hospital to lie down for a few days. Excessive use of chakra in combat is indeed very dangerous. Uncle Feng, thanks to you for today's affairs, thank you very much. After the night wind remembers the contents of the scroll, he returned the scroll to Yamanaka Feng. After all, it is a collection of others. It would be inappropriate to take it away. Yamanaka Feng put away the scroll, looked at the night wind calmly, and said thoughtfully, "Don't tell others about your chakra cultivation, and don't let others see it when you practice. Even if you are enrolled in a ninja school, don't show too high a qualification, just meet the admission standard. This is good for you. As for the specific reasons, don't ask." Quote, Yamanaka K's, as an elite in Genin, naturally knows what is happening in the forest today. The reason why Danzo didn't have any doubts about Yifeng was because Yifeng showed poor aptitude. But, if the night wind practices chakra, Danzo knows about it. Maybe it will be detrimental to the night wind. To this, Yifeng smiled indifferently. Okay, you don't tell me and I don't ask, I will try to hide it as much as possible in the future. You trust me, then I trust you too. Although, I already knew your details. After half a month, the entrance examination for the ninja school has begun. Yifeng and Ino arrived at the entrance of the examination room early in the morning. At this time, many children have gathered outside the examination room to take the examination. Whether it is a large family or a commoner family, as long as there is a chance, parents want their children to become a ninja. It seems only this way. To get glory. Hi, Yifeng, Ino. Here we are. Akamichi Choji stood with Shikamaru, and after seeing the night wind and Ino, he waved enthusiastically. Hey, a deer, a butterfly, but two pigs, it's really a troublesome thing. Shikamaru sighed. It seems that I have already seen the troublesome things to face in the future. Hey, the stinky deer of Nara's family, who you said is a pig and want to be beaten again. Ino's eyes sank, his forehead was full of black lines, and he raised his fist angrily. Ino Shika-cho is an iconic combination of Konoha village Yamanaka, Akamaiki, and Nara. Each generation of Ino Shika-cho will be composed of members of the patriarch's family. Usually it is a single pass. But because of Yifeng's body problems after birth. So, Yifeng's parents gave birth to Ino again. That's all. 2 candidates appeared in the Yamanaka generation. But, whether it is Nightwind or Ino, they are obviously not very interested in the role of the pig. Hey, I know there will be trouble. I really don't want to be a ninja. Being a ninja is really too much trouble. Shikamaru in the distance saw Ino aggressively. Sighed again. I really don't understand. Choji and his family are so fat, but they are called butterflies. And our family is so handsome, but they are called pigs. Ino grumbled. Yifeng smiled and comforted Ino a few words, and patted her little head. Although Choji is a fat man. But after the butterfly. That's a standard figure. Over time, more and more children gathered at the exam gate. Yifeng probably took a look. Konoha's Ju Shaoqiang hasn't arrived yet. Said it bluntly. This year's students almost sucked up the entire ninja world's luck. Fortunately, his night breeze is hanging. Otherwise, it may not really be able to afford it. At this time, a weak girl's voice suddenly rang behind him. Yifeng-kun, hello. Hear this voice. Yifeng smiled and turned around and saw Hyuga Hinata with his head down. Hinata's personality is easy to be shy. She was able to pluck up the courage to say hello to Yifeng, and she just wanted to talk to Yifeng. So, Yifeng did not disappoint her. Hello Hinata, long time no see, you have become cute again. Hear Yifeng's pompous words. Hinata's small face instantly turned redder. She lowered her head quickly. Fiddled with his fingers. Nightwind-kun, saying these strange things again. See this picture of Hinata. Yifeng laughed. How to say? It's not that Yifeng insists on grabbing Naruto's little girlfriend. 2 years ago, Yifeng received a sign-in task because of it. So, when the little kids wanted to bully Hinata, Yifeng rescued Hinata and took away a marriage that originally belonged to Naruto. But, there is no alternative, if someone has to take care of it. So, let this system come. I wish I could be divided into a class with Hinata. If this is the case, Tenten can see the cute Hinata in the future. Yifeng continued to speak these sorrowful words non-stop. Ever since, Hinata's face grew redder, red to the end. She was so hot that she was about to smoke. At this time, Ino came to Hinata, skilled to hold her. Alright, brother, don't tease Hinata anymore. Look at her, you are about to faint again. Ino finished saying this. I saw Hinata really dizzy and fainted in Ino's arms. Yifeng, Ino. After a while, with the debut of Uchiha Sasuke, the 9 Shaoqiangs of Konoha village are finally here. Accompanying Sasuke is his brother Uchiha Itachi. At this time, the Uchiha family has not been annihilated. Sasuke didn't become the kid who was extremely cold because of hatred. He looks sunny and handsome, with a sense of arrogance among children of the same age. Behind him, they immediately caused a discussion among the crowd. Tisk tusk tusk, I didn't expect Uchiha Itachi's younger brother to be with us at the same time. His brother is so good, he should be a genius too. Inuzuka Tooth touched his chin and made a comment. Who is Uchiha Itachi, is it amazing? Choji grabbed a handful of potato chips and put them in his mouth to chew. Well, it's amazing. He enrolled at the age of 6, graduated at the age of 7, and joined the Anbu at the age of 11. The Uchiha clan. But it's a lot of talent. Shikamaru explained. Is genius right, then I will defeat him in the future. At this time, Uzumaki Naruto, who has blonde hair, also leaned forward. He said very badly that genius is used to defeat. And he, the one who is destined to defeat the genius. To this, the same stinky Inuzuka Tooth frowned and pushed Naruto a little disgustingly, and said. Hey, who are you? Can you stay away from us? The ghost knows if idiots can be contagious. Watching the interaction between Shaoqiang, Yifeng suddenly felt that the current Hokage world finally looked more and more like the Hokage world he knew. It's time to face Orochimaru in 6 years. As long as you live and grow first, it shouldn't be a big problem. However, at this time, the system issued a new sign-in task. Ding. Host, please sign in the first row of the entrance ceremony student queue. Yifeng swallowed. There are joys and worries in my heart. Before, on average, the system only releases tasks once a month or 2. But recently this system has actually become more powerful. 3 sign-in tasks were released in 1 month. But The check-in location this time is the first row of the entrance ceremony. In other words, Yefeng must successfully enroll in school and become the first among boys. Because according to Konoha village's practice, the entrance ceremony will be divided into 2 columns. 1 column for boys and 1 column for girls, standing by grades. At this time, Yifeng glanced at Sasuke, sighed, and thought in his heart, it looks like I want to keep a low profile, I'm afraid it won't work. Before, Yifeng was concerned about being targeted by Danzo. So he is really low-key these days. But now, for the task, Yifeng is probably breaking the ring. Actually speaking, if you think about it from Danzo's point of view, Yifeng just killed 2 ninjas who sneaked in by coincidence. He didn't get any information about Danzo. Why did Danzo risk offending the Yamanaka clan to target the Night Wind? Enough support, it doesn't hurt to be careful. But for the task, you should be bold and bold. It didn't take long. The exam officially begins. The entrance exam for the ninja school is divided into 3 main courses. The first is to test the candidate's talent in chakra. The main check is the speed of refining chakra. The way of taking the exam is very simple. The invigilator will first explain the basic chakra extraction technique to everyone. The level of explanation is naturally several grades worse than that taught by Yamanaka Wind. But this is mainly considering the children of some civilian families. After all, not everyone has the opportunity to receive one-on-one guidance from Jonin. After the invigilator explained the bronze version of the chakra extraction technique, he first let the children of the common people review it by themselves. Then, the invigilator began to help those candidates who had already practiced chakra, so that chakra returned to the state of mental energy and life energy. Thus, the basic chakra for all candidates is 0. Then, follow the exam requirements. All candidates have 5 minutes for chakra extraction. Of course, in fact, this method of examination is still unfair to the children of civilians. After all, like the children of those big families, they may have already started cultivating chakra, and their proficiency is naturally far surpassed by ordinary players. And the chakra extraction techniques used by children of large families are also excellent. It is not comparable to civilians. But no way. This is the truth. 5 minutes later, the invigilator scores based on the number of chakras extracted by the candidates. Uchiha Sasuke, 10 points. Nara Shikamaru, 8 points. Hyuga Hinata, 8 points. Uzumaki Naruto, 3 points. Yamanaka Night Wind, 10 points. When the results of the Night Wind were announced by the examiner, Uchiha Sasuke frowned slightly, as if to say, can children of this small family get the same score as me? How can it be? That's right, in the eyes of the Uchiha clan. Look at the entire Konoha village. All small families. Elder brother, Yamanaka Ino pouted and came to Yifeng's side, and accused, somewhat unhappily. Your body has been healed a long time ago, and you have never told me. Do you still consider me a sister? Did I pick it up? See this picture of Ino. Yifeng smiled and touched her little head, and explained. I didn't know until today, maybe this is the time to work, well, we should go to prepare for the next exam. Yifeng didn't explain too much. Because the more explained, the more unclear the explanation. Instead, I don't know anything. After all, I'm a child and don't know anything. You can just make up for the rest by yourself. After Yifeng finished speaking, he turned and left, and walked towards the place of the next exam. Looking at Yifeng's back, Ino showed a sudden realization and started to make up for himself. That's right, when my father taught me the chakra extraction technique, he said that he did not pass it on to my brother, nor did he let me pass it on to my brother for practice. But judging from the situation today, my brother must be a genius. It's just that it hasn't been discovered before. Just thought of this. Ino couldn't help but smile happily. That is to say, my elder brother of Yamanaka Ino, how could he be a waste? At this time, Haruno Sakura walked up to Ino, walked side by side with her, and whispered while lying in her ear. Ino, your brother is so amazing, and he is so handsome, you are so happy. Ino turned his head and glanced at Sakura, a look of vigilance in his eyes. Hey, little Sakura, that's my brother. Don't pay attention to him, and I tell you, brother may already have someone he likes. Finished. Ino glanced secretly in the direction of Hyuga Hinata. Little Sakura followed Ino's gaze. It showed a sense of understanding. It turned out to be Hinata sauce. Hyuga matches Yamanaka. Yemen is right. Hey, it's really difficult for a girl from a commoner family. This test examines the use of cutting tools by candidates. Needless to say, this is another harm to the children of civilians. To know, cutting tools are not cheap. And in the process of training, the breakage rate of cutting tools is also very high. Ordinary children who are willing to let go of training. So, there is a natural gap between civilian players and RMB players. Next, the first player to play is Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke, please choose the cutting tool you want to show, the invigilator said with a smile. Uchiha Sasuke stepped forward, with a bewildered confidence on his face, and said, as a Uchiha clan, of course you must choose Shuriken. After speaking, Uchiha Sasuke glanced in the direction of the night wind. The corners of the mouth lifted slightly, as if to say, this scene, I, Uchiha Sasuke, will be the most beautiful cub in the audience. Soon, the invigilator took the target for the Shuriken test. Just when the invigilator was about to announce the start of the exam, Sasuke suddenly smiled again with Tsunere. Teacher, isn't this kind of test too simple? It's really meaningless. Can you rearrange the examination room according to my requirements? Of course, other students don't need to worry too much. After all, you are not born with the talent of Shuriken like our Uchiha clan, so you only need to take the exam in the most basic way. Quote. Listen, does this speak human words? No wonder the Uchiha family has a bad reputation in Konoha village. Although the invigilator was a little unhappy in his heart. But, after all, he is the son of the Uchiha patriarch. He is a little chunin, so don't offend them. Then, the invigilator rearranged the examination room in accordance with Sasuke's request. At this time, in the examination room, the targets were replaced with 6. One is straight ahead, the other 4 were hung on the trees diagonally above both sides. And the last one, placed behind the first target, formed an absolute blind spot. Then, the exam begins. Uchiha Sasuke raised his mouth, took out 4 shurikens in both hands, and threw them into the air. Immediately afterwards, Sasuke rose into the air very handsomely. The other 2 shurikens were also thrown out by him one after another. Whoosh, whoosh, ding ding ding. The last 2 shurikens came first and hit the previous 4 shurikens. There was a tingling sound. Finally, 5 shurikens were accurately inserted into the heart of the target. The last one, although it did not hit the red heart, it also accurately hit the target at the blind spot. Hey, the 6th one failed to hit the red heart. Today's performance is a bit poor. Although Urzuzi said badly, his face showed a very Tsunere look. Look at it. This is the heritage of the Uchiha clan. Just ask if you are afraid. Uchiha Sasuke. 0.10 points. The invigilator swallowed. The big family is really different. Just a little kid actually possesses such a high shuriken talent. Too heaven-defying. The rest of the candidates around were also in shock. Even a large group of little girls, headed by little Sakura, all showed the appearance of nympho, their eyes turned into little red hearts. Inazukaga. It's amazing. I'm a strong enemy. Whirlpool Naruto. Ha ha ha, it's really good. Only in this way can I be qualified to be defeated by me in the future. Akamichi Choji was holding the potato chips in his hand, but forgot to put it in the mouth. He asked blankly. Ah, this. Shikamaru. What happened just now? Did you see clearly? Shikamaru sighed and said helplessly. I can see it clearly. I can perfectly control the strength and orientation of each shuriken. The guys from the Uchiha clan are really strong. The second player to play is Yifeng. Student Yifeng, please choose the cutting tool you want to show. The invigilator took a deep breath. Although genius is amazing, it can also make people envy and hate. But, as a professional ninja school teacher, he soon calmed his mood. The exam will continue. After hearing his name, Yifeng walked out of the team. He looked at the targets around him and said calmly, I will test the shuriken too, just use this classmate's target just now. Yifeng said this. The examination room boiled again. Wow, is this handsome guy like Sasuke-kun, is he good at shuriken? I think it should be, otherwise, why would he choose the same test method as Sasuke-kun? It's great, you can see the handsome performance again, and I didn't lose in this exam today. Above, they are all nymphs who like to judge a person by their appearance. For them after all, beauty is the last word. Brother, come on, you are the best. Hearing the discussion of the little girls around, Ino's heart felt Tsunere. That's my brother. Of course it's amazing. Although Sasuke-kun is also handsome, he is far behind my brother. Hinata glanced at Yifeng secretly. It's the Night Breeze-kun. Many girls like him, so stressed. Uchiha Sasuke laughed arrogantly, and looked at Yifeng and said quietly, Yamanaka Yifeng, right, my actions just now were dangerous. It's not a good idea to imitate it at random. Sasuke learned this shuriken routine from his brother Uchiha just now. In order to learn this handsome throw, Sasuke sprained various joints. And this guy from a small family actually wants to imitate him. What a joke. Yifeng glanced at Urzuzi silently, and did not choose to ignore him. The attire of the two pillars has been bound since childhood. Proper bloodline boundaries, still the kind that can be activated at any time. Just ignore it. Yifeng, are you sure you want to choose the same test method as Sasuke? If you fail, the score may be very low. The invigilator kindly reminded me. Teacher, no problem, can I start? Yifeng's expression was flat. The invigilator sighed and said, it's time to start. The exam begins. The friends held their breath in excitement. I saw it. Yifeng did not perform those handsome moves like Sasuke. He just raised the shuriken in his hand seemingly casually. Immediately afterwards, Yifeng turned around and walked in the direction of the team without even looking. This makes the audience feel a little disappointed. That's it. What about the handsome action? It feels so-so. But, only Ino and Hinata don't think so. In the minds of both of them, the night wind is the strongest. Really, after the same ding-ding-ding sound, all 6 shurikens hit the hearts. The scene was amazed. Ah, this, Shikamaru, what do you think? Choji's potato chips were already in his mouth, but seeing the result before him, he forgot to chew. Quote. Shikamaru looked at Yifeng's back and was speechless again. What do I think? Of course, I saw it with my eyes. Haha, brother is the best. Just when the friends were confused, Ino had already jumped up happily. Check it out, my brother hit all hearts. Much better than Uchiha's little ghosts. With Ino's voice falling, in the crowd, there was a burst of strong discussion. Although the style of the night wind is different from Sasuke. But, I have seen 2 handsome guys perform. The nymphomaniacs feel that life is about to reach the pinnacle. No loss for this wave of exams. The invigilator rubbed his temples and suddenly felt a little panic in his chest. Yamanaka Night Wind. 0.10 points. Although the same is very good. But everyone is very clear. Yamanaka Night Wind is obviously better than Uchiha Sasuke. Next, although there are still several young people who are quite talented in cutting tools. But compared to Sasuke and Night Wind, their excellence has become dull. Of course, in the eyes of Hinata and Ino, the Night Wind is the most shining one. Uchiha Sasuke can't be compared at all. Among the team, Uchiha Sasuke stared at the Night Wind. His immature fist was clenched. As if to say, Yamanaka Night Wind, I will definitely surpass you in the next exam. The 3rd exam begins. This test is about physical strength. For a ninja, physical strength is a crucial factor. Whether it's ninjutsu or physique, it must be supported by physical strength. So, when an examinee can extract chakra normally and understand the use of some cutting tools, it is time to examine the physical strength. The examination room for the 3rd exam is a large track composed of hundreds of wooden piles as obstacles. The runway is uneven. There will be various obstacles in the middle. The way of taking the exam is very simple. All candidates start from the same starting line, and whoever reaches the finish line first gets the highest score. In other words, in this exam, there is only one person who can get a full score. Yamanaka Night Wind, I admit that you are very strong, but in this test, I will definitely defeat you. Uchiha Sasuke stood beside Yifeng. Install escape to open. The tone was indifferent. The forced frame looks very high. But Yifeng had long understood Sasuke's routine. Nothing more than that. The sky is clear, the rain has stopped, and Urzuzi feels that he is doing it again. So, Yifeng still didn't bother to talk to him. After all, want to surpass the Night Wind in terms of physical strength. Sorry, he has been refining his body since Yifeng was 3 years old. Huh, come on, brother, let them see what the genius of our Yamanaka clan looks like. Although Sasuke is also handsome, brother is the best. The exam begins. Yifeng Yiki Juchen. The tall obstacles on the runway, as if they were flat ground, did not bring him any obstacles at all. Of course, the second pillar is also fast. But there is still a slight gap with Yifeng. Hinata looked at the night breeze leading in front from a distance, and a warmth rose in his heart. Yifeng-kun, really excellent. I have to work hard too, I can't get rid of too much by him. Hinata, who had plucked up his courage, also started to move forward with all his strength. For a time, the little friends seemed to be driven by the night breeze. All are high-spirited. HMPH, Yifeng, just running like this is too boring for you and me. Do you dare to run while fighting with me? Sasuke saw that he was always a few steps away from the night breeze. Very upset in my heart. Then, he put forward a request to increase the difficulty of the exam. If it were other Xiaoqiang being provoked by such a look, he would definitely stop and educate the second pillar well. But, for the Night Wind, Sasuke is just a kid. Is it fun to care about so much with a little kid? And, Urzuzi's future life is already very sad. Can he bear the heart to let Urzuzi feel a bag of rice from now on? So, Yifeng ignored Sasuke again. But, this action of Yifeng obviously irritated Sasuke completely. Too pretentious. Uchiha Sasuke was repeatedly ignored by the Night Wind. This made him almost lose his mind. After all, the most unbearable thing for people who like to pretend is that they just finished pretending to be ignored. Then, Sasuke pressed his feet a little harder, and with the help of the bounce, he reached out and grabbed the clothes behind the Night Wind. When Yifeng saw this, he raised his hand to grasp Sasuke's wrist with a slight side of his body. Subsequently, Yifeng flicked slightly, threw the second pillar into the air, and kicked Sasuke's cock. Boom! The two pillars are like a cannonball out of the chamber. Hit Naruto's arms behind him. That's all. The first sorrow of the two of Naruto was handed over in advance. The exam is over. Yifeng undoubtedly achieved the first place. Uchiha Sasuke was entangled by Naruto. In the end only scored 8 points. But the overall score is still ranked second. Yifeng-kun, congratulations, you won the first place. Hyuga Hinata blushed and walked to Yifeng, and congratulated Yifeng in a soft voice. Yifeng smiled, patted Hinata's little head, and said with a smile, "Congratulations, I have seen your performance. If nothing else, the two of us should be placed in the same class. We can meet every day." Hinata heard that Yifeng had been paying attention to her performance. Suddenly, my heart felt warm. But, when she felt the Night Wind's head to kill, small stars began to appear in Hinata's eyes. Fortunately, Ino hugged her expertly, which didn't make her faint to the ground. "Hey, brother, Hinata sauce is really good to be so funny. You are afraid that you are going to do some kind of tame. It feels too much." Ino glanced at Yifeng. Fortunately, Yifeng is his own brother. Otherwise, he was fed a bite of dog food at every turn. Who can stand it? Yifeng shrugged and smiled disapprovingly. Are you young? This is a good idea. Entrance examinations are all over. Konoha 9 Xiaoqiang and Yifeng successfully obtained admission qualifications. On the playground of the ninja school, Yifeng finally got his wish and stood at the sign in position. Ding! It is detected that the host has arrived at the check-in location, and the check-in starts 10.9.8.7.0. Congratulations to the host for signing in successfully and getting a reward, flat cut Grandmaster. Cut the Grandmaster flat, when the rewards of the system are received. Yifeng couldn't help but smile. It used to be a hidden weapon. Is it now a weapon? Isn't this system a samurai master? But it's okay. Flat cut is a close combat anyway. This close-to-hand combat and tit-for-tat style is more in line with Yifeng's appetite. Next, a burst of warmth flowed in the night breeze. Countless flat-cutting experience and cutting skills all merged into Yifeng's mind. But, right now, there is no time to experience the night breeze. After all, Third generation also delivered a speech that made people extremely exciting on stage. As long as there is a place where leaves fly, the flame will burn, and the shadow of the flame will shine on the village, and new leaves will sprout. You are the future of the village. The voice of high morale fell. The students clapped and cheered. There is a lot of positive energy contained in this sentence, and it is also a theme that runs through the Hokage world. But, although it sounds nice, but did third Hokage really carry through this sentence? The will of fire is a selfless will. Third generation, as Hokage, is he really selfless? Look at the treatment of his grandson Konohamaru. Let's look at the treatment of fourth Hokage's son Uzumaki Naruto. Black for a lifetime, the kind that is not white. Actually, Yefeng didn't want to black third Hokage. After all, if third Hokage is really the kind of villain with inconsistent appearances, he will not fight for his life when facing Orochimaru's invasion. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen's ability is too weak. It is simply not enough to serve as a shadow of a village. So, that led to so many tragedies in Konoha village. Of course, this cannot be completely blamed on Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although the education of ninja world is different from China in the previous life of Yifeng. But, if it is judged from the eyes of the Night Wind, third Hokage probably only has a middle school education level. Although he is in charge of the politics and economy of the entire Konoha village. In this day and age, he is a pretty good village head. But he lacked a systematic scientific theory. Such third Hokage can develop Konoha village into what it is now. It's not easy anymore. It can be regarded as hard work without credit. This is the highest evaluation of Yefeng's purpose for third generation. After the entrance ceremony, Yifeng took her sister back home. Upon entering the house, Ino jumped up happily. "Father, you are back." Ino couldn't mention how happy he was to see his father come home so early. Yamanaka Hai smiled slightly, stepped forward and patted Ino's head, then looked at Yifeng Dao with gentle eyes. "I heard about your exams from a friend, so I came back to celebrate for your brothers and sisters, especially Yifeng. Your kid chakra actually got 10 points. Let's talk, what's the matter?" Yamanaka Hichi is the upper level of Konoha village. He naturally has channels to understand the details of the exam at the ninja school. To be honest, Yamanaka Hai felt that the performance of the Night Wind in physical strength and cutting tools was expected. But, can this kid get 10 points in his chakra exam? Is this his son who couldn't extract chakra normally? Could there be an inside story? Can't it? I haven't given a gift yet. Facing the eager gaze of the family, Yifeng shrugged. This moment, Yifeng had already expected it. Yefeng too is a human being. This life, although he started with a waste of wood, he has never experienced bitterness and hatred, and his family treats him very well. It stands to reason, there should be no secrets between such a family. But the system thing is too important. The Night Wind is impossible to say. I don't know too much, maybe it is related to my training in the past few years. Or is the daily medicated bath having an effect? Yifeng put on a look of, I am also dumbfounded, and explained vaguely. Yamanaka heard the words and nodded thoughtfully. If it is before today, Yifeng said he improved his physique because of training or medicated baths. Yamanaka is absolutely impossible to believe. How can the bloodline characteristics related to chakra change so easily? But now the facts are in sight. Don't let him not believe it. Then, he started to replenish his brain. Chakra is transformed from physical strength, and physical strength is composed of cell life energy and our spiritual energy. If you can persist in physical training and medicated baths at a young age, your spiritual energy may already be far beyond that of children of the same age. That's why. Yamanaka Heichi did not think that the Night Wind was hiding some secrets. Instead, he explained it forcibly. After all, spiritual energy is a relatively unique power. Although the ninja can combine spiritual energy to extract chakra. But, the power of the spirit, it's much more than just extracting chakra. For example, two people with the same physical strength, give them the same weapons, let them practice the same combat skills. When you put them in the arena and set that only one person can survive. Whoever has stronger spiritual energy, that is, stronger will, is the one who survives in the end. As the saying goes, the brave master is not as good as a dog. 3,000 more armors can swallow Wu. This is the truth. Konoha Village. Underground space. Shimura Danzo finished reading the information in his hand, and fell into a period of contemplation. Unexpectedly, the kid from the Yamanaka family is actually even better than Itachi's younger brother, and he also has a Grandmaster Shuriken. Shuriken. Say here. Shimura Danzo put away the intelligence scroll. Touched his chin. He glanced at the masked Yamanaka. Feng, I heard that the little guy has a good relationship with you. How much do you know about him? Danzo asked. Many people in Nenin are ninjas that Danzo has cultivated since he was a child. These people have no names, no emotions, and completely obey Danzo's orders. But a strong organization cannot be composed of such people alone. Yamanaka Wind is one of the special cases. Ye Feng's physique is inherently problematic. In the past few years, he has been insisting on high-load physical training, and has used Yamanaka family's special medicine water for medicated baths every day. Perhaps this is the reason his physique has changed. After all, the Yamanaka clan is a very old clan. The voice of Yamanaka Wind didn't make any waves. Very objectively reporting information about the night wind. Oh, what happened in the forest that day? The old man never found out the truth. A few days ago, I deliberately tested the old fox Hiruzen, and I didn't find anything suspicious. Could it be that the two of Orochimaru's men were really killed by Yamanaka? Quote. Danzo squinted his eyes. The voice was a little cold. There is such a possibility. The level of Ye Feng's hidden weapon is very high, not weaker than me. Yamanaka Feng responded without hesitation. Danzo heard Yamanaka Feng's answer and nodded in satisfaction. After all, the two ninjas who died were nothing but Orochimaru's men. As long as it is not Sarutobi Hiruzen's hands, it doesn't matter who killed him. Actually, something about Yamanaka Night Wind. Danzo had already asked about it. If just now Yamanaka Wind deliberately played a cover for Yamanaka Night Wind, that means there is a problem with Yamanaka's loyalty. Compared to Yamanaka Night Wind, Danzo is more concerned about Yamanaka Feng's loyalty to him. The next day, Yakuza and Ino came to the ninja school to report on time. After receiving the textbook, the two came to the elite class. Haha, Yamanaka Night Wind, from today onwards, everyone is in the same class. I watched your performance yesterday, and you seem to be a very good Yazi. But don't be proud, because one day, I will surpass you. Quote. Uzumaki Naruto jumped onto the desk in front of the Night Wind. The arrogance is very arrogant. Ye Feng glanced at Naruto. Exposed a thoughtful look. It seems that because his grades surpassed Sasuke, Naruto changed his challenge to himself. But Ming Zuo is true love. Ye Feng didn't want to get in. Enough trouble. Naruto, you idiot. How can a crane tail like you be better than your brother? With a look of disgust, Ino pulled Naruto away from the Night Wind. She really can't figure it out. Why did this guy at the end of the crane go to the same class with them? Naruto heard Ino call him the tail of the crane. 10,000 alpacas rushed past in my heart. He is about to fight back a few words. Ye Feng stood up and smiled. Ino, don't say that. After all, everyone will be classmates in the future. In addition, I think Naruto's looks are extraordinary, and his roots are wonderful. As long as he has an epiphany in the future, his achievements will be extraordinary. Maybe he will become Hokage. Quote. But now, Ye Feng said in public that he could become Hokage in the future. This moment, Naruto almost cried out moved. My soulmate. Someone is finally willing to recognize me. I, Uzumaki Naruto, can definitely become Hokage in the future. Ye Feng, you are a good fellow. Since you are so optimistic about me, then everyone will be true friends. Uzumaki Naruto gritted his teeth, gave Ye Feng a thumbs up, and blinked his eyes. There was a sense of sight of might guy. To this, Ye Feng nodded in satisfaction, and smiled at Naruto as a response. It is of course a good thing to be recognized by Naruto. Future. In case Ye Feng encounters something difficult to solve, he can yell, I have Genin Naruto but all beings. After Ye Feng established a relationship with Naruto, Naruto ran up to Sasuke again, and pointed to Sasuke arrogantly and said, Sasuke, did you hear that? I will become Hokage's man in the future, so I will definitely beat you. Sasuke twisted his face coldly. I didn't want to pay attention to an idiot like Naruto. Huh, what do you mean by pretending to be cold? Don't you believe me? Naruto appeared unhappy in the direction of Sasuke's side face. Asked reluctantly. It's just the tail of a crane, and I want to be a Hokage. Don't dream. Sasuke changed his face again and cast a word of contempt. Want to be Hokage even with such an idiot? Are you kidding me? In Sasuke's eyes, Uchiha Itachi is the Hokage of the future. Others, not worthy at all. Naruto saw that Sasuke finally started talking to him. Then, he put his hands around his chest with a look of Tsunere, and reappeared in Sasuke's line of sight. Cut, didn't you hear what Yi Feng said just now? My bones are amazed, I can definitely become Hokage in the future. Moreover, Yi Feng classmate is the first in the class, and the first one now recognizes me. Do you even dare not accept the second one? Quote. For this theory of Uzumaki Naruto. The friends felt very speechless. Can't the second place squeeze the tail of your crane? A few dishes, floating like this. Uchiha Sasuke glanced in the direction of the night wind. It's Yamanaka night wind again. Go home yesterday. As soon as Uchiha Sasuke entered the door, his father already knew the result of the entrance examination. He looked at Sasuke and sighed silently. That feeling seemed to be talking. There really is a gap between Sasuke and Itachi. That feeling made Sasuke very upset. Although Sasuke likes Itachi very much, he accepts the reality that he is not as good as Itachi. But, he is also a child. He also wants his father's approval. But he obviously failed again. The culprit of all this is the night wind. Since I gave birth to Uchiha Sasuke, how to give birth to him Yamanaka night wind? Ever since, Uchiha Sasuke pushed Naruto away, stood up, put his hands in kabuto, walked coldly in front of Yi Feng, stared at Yi Feng's eyes, and said quietly. Yamanaka night wind, I, Uchiha Sasuke, will definitely not lose to you. You show me, I will show you the gap between mortals and Uchiha. There seemed to be an electric collision in the eyes of the two handsome guys. The nympho in the class screamed instantly. It's so exciting. Although classmate Yi Feng seems to be a little more handsome, a little sunnier, a little more friendly, and a little more powerful. But, Sasuke-kun is also very cold. So hard to choose. It's really hard to choose. Jingle bell. The class bell rang. Mr. Iruka walked into the classroom enthusiastically and introduced herself to everyone. Then, Iruka began to talk about the mission, responsibilities, and fetters of the ninja. This listening is professionally trained. A few words come out. Just make the friends excited. For this kind of brainwashing. Yi Feng naturally feels very boring. He lowered his head. I turned over the textbook issued by the school. Open the textbook. Yi Feng discovered a very interesting thing. Almost every book will have that sentence on the first page. As long as there is a place where leaves fly, the flame will burn, the shadow of the fire will shine on the village, and new leaves will sprout. But the most interesting part is that in every book, the signature of this sentence is different. Some write that Konoha is the strongest Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Some are written by Dr. Sarutobi Hiruzen of Konoha Shinobi. Others are written by Sarutobi Hiruzen, the head of the Konoha Sarutobi clan. Showa, it's a Tiensho. Continue to turn back. Yi Feng discovered that there was something even more outrageous. In a textbook, the name of the first article is actually an interesting story about the life of the strongest Hokage third generation. Lin Feng glanced roughly. It's nothing more than second Hokage being ordered in danger, shrewdly commanding the ninja world war, managing the village in an orderly manner, and so on. This made Yi Feng look very speechless. No wonder everyone says that the third generation is the strongest Hokage in the history of Konoha village. Don't mention anything else, just this brainwashing effort. I, Yamanaka, would like to call third Hokage the strongest. But then again, does third Hokage really have any dazzling achievements? First Hokage, he is powerful, put down the war, created Konoha village, and opened up the village to expand the soil. Second Hokage, he has a lively mind and founded ninja school, leaving Konoha village with countless ninjutsu, and he has the merits of creation and dedication. Fourth Hokage, he hardened Nine Tails, regardless of his own life, launched the forbidden technique to protect the village, and he was able to sacrifice his life for the village. What about third Hokage? Yi Feng held his cheeks and thought about it carefully. Before Konoha collapsed the plan. The only shining point of third Hokage should be at the end of the first ninja war. At that time, second Hokage was attacked by the Golden Horn and Silver Horn of Cloud Shinobi Village in order to make the large troops successfully retreat. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood up and said he could give up his life. But here is the problem. After Sarutobi Hiruzen made his statement, not only did second Hokage not let him stop, but because of his courage, he passed the position of third Hokage to him on the spot. Looks very inspirational, but in the process, did third Hokage make any actual credit? The answer is no. Since then, 2 ninja wars broke out in the ninja world. In these 2 ninja battles, Konoha Village is the winner. But, unfortunately, in these 2 ninja battles, Sarutobi Hiruzen just sat in Hokage's office and smoked and read the battlefield briefing. Take the Second Ninja World War as an example. Whether it was a frontline fight or a rear command, it was Konoha Sannin. The Third Ninja World War was even more awesome. Third Hokage was forced to hand over Hokage's seat directly because of his leadership in this war. So, where is his credit? Taught Konoha Sannin, but Yi Feng carefully tasted it. Let alone Konoha Sannin has now left Konoha village. Just talk about their current identities. One is Tsunade, the big fat sheep in the gambling world who is keen on drinking and gambling. One is Jiraiya, a cultural circle who is keen on stealing kui and writing novels with colors. There is another Orochimaru, not to mention, although it is for science. But he did cruel to countless innocent children in Konoha village. Now, he is still killing more children in Tianjiguo. So, the master who cultivated such 3 apprentices. At best, it can be regarded as a balance of merits and demerits. So, such textbooks, Yi Feng couldn't stand it anymore. A little boring. After school, Yi Feng did not go home with Ino. It is afternoon. There is still an hour or 2 before dinner time. So, Yi Feng intends to find a place to try the new Grandmaster. Konoha Cutting Tool Shop. The young lady clerk bent over, looked down at Yi Feng, with a lovely smile on her face. Kid, do you want to buy a set of ninja toys? What you like, sister can recommend it for you. Yi Feng's gaze swept across Miss Sister's field of vision. Cannot help feeling in my heart. The car is good. It is a pity that the driver is not yet of driving age. Leave the cutting tool shop. With the newly bought shinobi sword, Yi Feng found a field training ground with a wide view nearby, and began today's training. Cut the Grandmaster flat. As the name suggests, what has improved is Yi Feng's flat cutting skills. Flat cut, the easiest, most basic, and most effective move in kendo. As long as you can practice ping chop to ultimate. In the future, even if it is facing Uchiha who is driving Gundam. The night wind can also be cut with a single blow. Kang, shinobi was out of its sheath. Yi Feng held the handle of the knife. A special sense of memory was transmitted from the muscles of the night wind. This moment, Yi Feng seemed like a swordsman who had practiced hacking for more than 10 years. Almost as one with shinobi. Drink. Facing a tall wooden stake, Yi Feng began to practice flat cutting with a single knife, tirelessly. Although he is only 7 years old, but every cut leaves a deep mark on the stake, which is completely different from the power that a child of this age can have. Brush. Just when Yi Feng machinery swung the knife flatly. Suddenly, he felt an unusual breath from behind. Unknown so, but let him stand upright. Brush. Yi Feng instinctively turned around and swung his knife. Whoosh. Yi Feng's sword is fast. But the body flicker technique of the person behind it is also not slow. Yi Feng only saw an afterimage, and the person disappeared in front of Yi Feng. So fast, this feeling popped out of the hearts of both of them at the same time. Whoosh whoosh. Even though Yi Feng slashed through the air, his skills comparable to those of a hidden weapon master instinctively caused him to land on the most possible body flicker techniques around him, launching a set of hidden weapons in the past. Clang. The vague figure is also fast to ultimate. Although the impact of Flash Goddess technique was predicted by the night wind. But he took out kunai calmly and blocked Yi Feng's shuriken. Yi Feng-kun, don't come here unharmed, Itachi. Yi Feng frowned. He finally saw clearly who the other party was. Subsequently, there was a solemn look on his face. The strength of Uchiha Itachi is unknown. When you think that Itachi's strength is all there is to it, he may refresh your knowledge of his strength later on. The current Night Wind, in any case, is not Uchiha Itachi's opponent. So, what is he here for? Ye Feng bullied Sasuke. So, does Itachi intend to avenge his younger brother when he is the elder brother? Uchiha Itachi put away kunai, looking at Ye Feng's eyes. His eyes were flat and his voice was flat. It's no wonder that you can beat Sasuke. Such superb sword skills are not comparable to my Odudo. Ye Feng was silent. The Chunin knife was still gripped tightly. At the same time, his left hand also secretly buckled a miniature shuriken. Ye Feng doesn't believe that Uchiha Itachi is here just to praise him. Uchiha Itachi seemed to understand Ye Feng's concerns. He hesitated. Subsequently, he forced a smile on his face. Sorry, I was just curious about your sword skills, so I tried it out. Please don't get me wrong. Oh, test. Ye Feng stared suspiciously at Uchiha Itachi, thinking about it in his heart. Maybe it's really a temptation. After all, relying on Uchiha Itachi's superb illusion art. If he really wanted to deal with the Night Wind, he might have already succeeded. Well, when I was passing here, I happened to find that you were practicing the knife, so I couldn't help but watch it for a while. Your knife skills are good. Uchiha Itachi is very sincere. In fact, he had just returned from outside the village and was rushing back to hand in the task. The encounter with the Night Wind was completely coincidental. Perhaps because of Sasuke, Uchiha Itachi stopped and observed the Night Wind for a while to practice the sword. The action of Ye Feng swinging the knife seemed to be the simplest flat cut. But, Uchiha Itachi found out, even though Ye Feng's flat cut seemed to be out of order, his cuts were very stable with every cut. Steady is a bit unreasonable. There is no more than 10 years of hard cultivation. I am afraid that it will not reach such a level at all. But, Ye Feng is only 7 years old, right? So, in order to test the upper limit of Night Wind sword technique, Uchiha Itachi came quietly behind Ye Feng and released a ray of murderous aura. Really, the reaction behind the Night Wind did not disappoint Itachi. Although it is not clear how Ye Feng practiced, but his sword skills are indeed very strong. In Konoha village today, although there are still many ninjas using ninja swords as weapons, there are almost no ninjas who specialize in swordsmanship. It was the first time I saw a knife as fast as Ye Feng. Maybe, will he be the second Konoha's White Fang in the future? Thought of this, Uchiha Itachi sighed inwardly. My cute Odudo. You still have to keep working hard. The two talked briefly about the issue of swordsmanship. Finally, Uchiha Itachi smiled and said, by the way, I heard that during the exam yesterday, Sasuke had some conflicts with you. You are not to blame for this matter, it is that Sasuke is too reckless. He has been living in the halo since he was a child. Suddenly encountering an opponent like you will inevitably be a little excited. I hope you can forgive him and become friends in the future and make progress together. Quote. Ye Feng put away the weapon. Become friends with Sasuke. Forget it. Let Naruto complete this important task. After all, if the Night Wind cannot cope with Otsutsuki Kagaya in the future, maybe Mingzuo will have to find the old man of 6 paths to charge up the money. So, Naruto's fetters cannot be cut off. Watch Uchiha Itachi leave. Ye Feng finally breathed a sigh of relief. The ninja world is a world where the weak eat the strong and the strong respect the strong. Even if he has a plug-in, he can easily die. So, becoming stronger is the last word. Today's flat cutting training, add 100 more groups. Ye Feng was about to continue swinging his knife. At this time, Hyuga Hinata suddenly walked out of the bushes in the corner. Hinata was blushing and whispered, Ye Feng-kun. Got you, nothing happened just now. When Ye Feng saw Hinata, he was taken aback for a moment. Subsequently, he noticed that the ninja bag around Hinata's waist was not fastened, and a little bit of kana still leaked outside, and it looked like it had just been put back. In other words, this girl just kept peeking at herself here. Uchiha Itachi appeared behind. Hinata is also ready for kunai. If the Night Wind encounters danger, she will give up. Thought of this, Ye Feng felt warm and laughed. I'm fine. By the way, Hinata, would you like to train with me? Is this really okay? Hinata lowered her head shyly. Although she was happy in her heart, she didn't dare to show it. Of course. Ye Feng stepped forward, Pat Hinata's little head. Hinata, you have to have confidence in yourself. For a good girl like you, I am too happy to be able to train with you. So, why do you have the question just now? Quote, the neck immediately turned red. He was about to faint. But, there is no one around here. If you fainted, wouldn't it make Yefeng-kun difficult to do? No, can't fall, that's all. Little Hinata relied on tenacious willpower to overcome the dizziness. Yefeng-kun, thank you. Hinata took a deep breath, showing a shy look on his face. Thank you, you don't need to be so polite. Yifeng looked at Hinata and suddenly suggested, by the way, Hinata, let's do physical combat. Ah, physical combat. Hinata was taken aback for a moment, never expected that Yifeng would make such a suggestion. Yes, physical combat. Yifeng nodded. Your Hyuga clan has the Byakugan talent, and you are naturally good at melee physical skills. Today is our first time training together. Let me see your strength. Yifeng looked at Hinata solemnly. His eyes were full of encouragement. In the eyes of Yefeng, Hinata is actually a very good girl. She just lacks self-confidence. Yefeng hopes that through actual combat training, Hinata can regain her confidence, which can be regarded as an opportunity for the two to get along with each other. But, I'm not really strong. Hinata lowered his head. She could feel the trust that Yifeng placed in her. But, she always felt that she had failed the Byakugan clan's talents. I'm afraid that Yifeng will be disappointed. No, Hinata, I have always believed that you are excellent, so you must also believe in yourself, come on. Yifeng smiled softly. The bright gaze made Hinata's young heart feel a warmth like sunshine. Well, Hinata nodded. 1 or 2 sentences alone cannot change a person. But Hinata was kind by nature, and she couldn't bear to refuse Yifeng's expectations, so she could only bite the bullet. Haha, that's right, come on. The two walked to the center of the training ground and formed a unique seal of opposition between the ninjas before they competed. Subsequently, Hinata took a deep breath. Byakugan. Byakugan opens. Hinata immediately assumed a gentle fist pose. Yifeng looked at Hinata with great interest. Although Hinata is still young, he is already full of heroic spirit in the fighting state, and it is the Princess Byakugan. Hinata, I'm going to fight. Good. Whoosh whoosh. The two had serious expressions and rushed towards each other at the same time, and the two figures quickly became entangled together. Bang bang bang. Early stage. Hinata is very conservative and adopts a defensive tactic. The Night Wind kept throwing his fists to attack. It's not that Yefeng doesn't know how to pity and cherish Jade. Despite Yifeng's persistence in training these years, his physique has grown a lot, and he has also made a fist when he raises his fist. But I really want to talk about melee combat. The Night Wind is not as good as Hinata. All his attacks were blocked by Hinata with gentle fist. Hinata, you also said that you are not strong. I can't break through your defense at all. Try to take the initiative to attack. Yifeng smiled. Make Hinata's face redden again. But, under the continuous encouragement of the Night Wind, Hinata finally started to attack. Whoosh whoosh. 8 trigrams 2 palms, 8 trigrams 4 palms, and 8 trigrams 8 palms. This is the current limit of Hinata. But Yefeng's defense was already stretched. Actually, the Night Wind can see the flaws in Hinata's gentle fist. It's not that the gentle fist of the Hyuga clan has flaws. It's that Hinata has flaws. If this fight is a fight between life and death, the Night Wind has many opportunities to use flat cutters or hidden weapons to put Hinata to death. But if it's just a comparison of physical skills, although he saw the flaws in Hinata's palm, he couldn't attack Hinata's flaws at all. Really, there are many shortcomings. Quick action. Strong skill. Like a butterfly wearing a flower, it is constantly swaying on the training ground. In a blink of an eye, the two have been fighting for 20 minutes. Hinata was weak, already panting, and his physical strength was about to reach its limit. At this time, Yifeng smiled. He met Hinata's palm, and suddenly pulled out Shinobi with his left hand. Cut across the board. Because of Hinata's sudden slash, the speed of that palm instantly slowed down, and a huge flaw was revealed. Clang. With this knife, Yifeng deliberately raised the blade by an inch and chopped it on the stake behind Hinata. At the same time, Yifeng stretched out his right hand, grabbed Hinata's palm, and pressed her to the stake. Well, the seal of reconciliation is formed, and the actual physical skills are over. Baidong. Hinata watched the night breeze close at hand and felt the breath of the night breeze. He swallowed. Yefeng classmate. You. Hinata whispered, her body nowhere to rest, her heart flustered, her heart bumping like a deer. At the same time, a fascinating blush appeared on her beautiful cheeks. This redness is different from her usual blushes. Although she is still young, she is beautiful. The atmosphere is perfect. But at this moment, the edge of the training ground. Suddenly a scream came. What, brother, what are you doing? Hear Ino's exclamation. Hinata was blushing all at once, and his pupils began to spread, turning into circles of spirals. Subsequently, fainted in Yefeng's arms. Yefeng. Looking at Hyuga Hinata lying in his arms, and then at his sister who was running in his direction, Yifeng sighed helplessly. Ino, look at your good deeds. I just did physical combat with Hinata. We met our opponents and gained a lot. We just formed the seal of reconciliation. But you look at your call and Hinata is dizzy again. It's really unbelievable. Yefeng sighed, shaking his head. Ino came to the two of them, looked at Yifeng warily, and said, Brother, how old are you? You actually play Baidong. Although I also think Hinata sauce is excellent, I can accept her as my future sister-in-law. But, are you still too young now? A little bit. Yifeng stroked his chin, his eyes swept over Hinata. Nodded thoughtfully. It is indeed too small. Have to develop. After a while, Hinata finally woke up. It can be seen from her gaze that she is still a little blinded. You woke up, Hinata, your performance just now was very good, so you must have more confidence in yourself in the future. Yifeng laughed. Hear the compliments of the night wind. Hinata's face flushed again. When she was about to be humble, she suddenly felt, she seemed to be still in the arms of the night wind. Ever since, Hinata's eyes were in a trance again, and she fainted shyly. Yifeng, Ino, no way. To prevent Hinata from waking up, Yefeng could only let Ino pick up Hinata, and then couldn't help sighing. What a lovely girl. 3 months passed in a flash. In these 3 months, after school, Yefeng and Hinata will conduct their own training in the training ground where they first met. Of course, in the eyes of Sister Ino, those, simple, practice, are obviously two people dating secretly. Just to prevent Hinata from passing out shyly. She and her brother didn't say it clearly. But I have to say, after 3 months of training, Hyuga Hinata's self-confidence has been restored a lot. Hinata's qualifications are high. In the original plot, although Hinata's performance was mediocre at first, but in the middle and late stages, Hinata has shown remarkable combat power. After all, the title of Princess Byakugan is not just casual talk. With the help of Yifeng, Hinata's hard knot began to slowly unravel. The little psychological problem is being solved. So, her progress in Gentle Fist is also very obvious. Perhaps it is also for this reason. Hinata and Yefeng, although Tenten, are dating. But Hyuga Hiyashi did not interfere with the two of them. Nor did he discuss the matter in front of Yamanaka Kaiichi. Just let the two children develop freely. Hyuga with Yamanaka. It's a good match. As for the night wind, it's been 3 months. He is still practicing flat cutting. Dozens of days are like a day. If you must ask why, do not ask. The question is that the system is too bad. System, I didn't deliberately find the fault. Look at the ghost mission you posted. Sign in on the wooden stake with the pink piglet. Come on, tell me where the stake is. What does that pink pig look like? 3 months. I have been stuck in this ghost mission for 3 months. Don't you plan to explain it to me? Yifeng's daily complaints are over. The system is as cold and silent as ever. There is no way to let the night wind. Hey, practice the knife, otherwise what else can you do? Yifeng wrote melancholy on his face. A gesture to Ino and Hinata means that the next actual combat training can begin again. The center of the training ground. Hinata and Ino stood opposite the night wind. I don't know if it is contagious because of being handsome. Both Ino and Hinata have begun to show their heroism. Brother, we are about to start. Ino's voice fell off. The two of them jumped up in the direction behind them very tacitly, and opened the distance between them and the night wind. At the same time, Hinata and Ino opened the ninja bag, their hands were flying, and their hidden weapons were all released. Whoosh whoosh. For an instant, hidden weapons such as shurikens, chibin, and kuwu were thrown out. 20 or 30 cold lights are like meteors, attacking in different directions of the night breeze. Although the location of the attack is not critical. But if it is hit, Yi Feng is afraid that it is a small fate, but it is hard to guarantee. Faced with this level of attack, Yi Feng is not impatient, and his face is extremely calm. Brush. The knife light flashed. The silver-white knife slashed across the sky. All the hidden weapons were knocked off by the night wind, turned around, and inserted into the bullseye of the training ground. Ah, this. Shikamaru, what do you think? Far away. Akamichi Choji saw this behind the scenes. The potato chips that had been put in the mouth fell out of the mouth. Shikamaru's eyes were solemn, feeling the sharp breath emanating from Yi Feng in the distance. Lost in contemplation. Is this the special training that Ino is talking about? Is this definitely practicing? Isn't it killing me? Yamanaka Night Wind is going to be heaven-defying. The secret technique of yin escape is not developed. Changed to playing knives. And Shikamaru also recently discovered a problem. Under the leadership of the Night Wind, even Ino has begun to wear shinobi. Could it be Ino Shikacho will break up in the future? What a troublesome guy. Awesome, my brother. Yefeng-kun. Congratulations, you finally succeeded. Hidden weapon hits the bullseye. Both Ino and Hinata showed pride and admiration on their faces. For this trick, they have practiced repeatedly dozens of times. This time I finally got it done. Ding. Congratulations to the host. Passive skill, Ping/Grandmaster, upgraded to Ping/Penultimate activation feature, Chakra Blade. Hear this wonderful, pleasant, and slightly cold system prompt sound. Yefeng was taken aback for a moment. System, it seems that you are not as bad as I imagined. Flat cutting is a skill. When Yefeng first started, the grade was Grandmaster. And now, after 3 months of repeated training, Yi Feng's control of Ping Chop had reached a very terrifying state. Otherwise, it is also impossible for the hidden weapon to reverse its direction and hit the bullseye. But Yi Feng never expected it. After the level hack was upgraded, the system actually presented an extra skill, Chakra Blade. Although so far, Night Wind does not have any kind of chakra nature transformation. But if you can attach chakra to the shinobi like a samurai to form a chakra blade, you can also greatly increase your combat effectiveness. And, after having this skill, once the Night Wind developed a change in the nature of chakra, he can easily integrate chakra with nature transformation into the chakra blade. Form the chakra blade of escape technique. The power is naturally stronger. System, I feel more and more that you are a samurai. Ninja School. Today's day is very special. Early in the morning, Uruka brought the entire elite class to the wide training ground. Since enrollment, my friends are learning theoretical knowledge every day. For example, survival in the wild, essentials of traps, mission experience, support and counter-support, investigation and counter-investigation, and so on. Although these theoretical knowledge is all-encompassing, but it is really boring to learn. So, in accordance with school practice, 3 months later, that is today, each class will arrange a practical exercise. After this drill, each class will begin physical training. So, after hearing the news, the friends were very excited and eager to try one by one. The first group of the actual combat exercise is Night Wind and Sasuke. Sasuke walked to the center of the training ground and glanced at Yi Feng contemptuously, her face revealing honey confidence. Ms. Uruka, can I use ninjutsu during the competition? I just learned a fire-style ninjutsu recently. Sasuke's voice fell. The emotions of the little friends boiled instantly. Awesome. So soon the master acquired the chakra nature transformation of the fire attribute, but it is Sasuke-kun. Yes, fire-style ninjutsu has very high requirements for chakra. Is Sasuke-kun's chakra so strong? Tisk tusk tusk, is this the background of the Uchiha clan? It is terrifying as expected. The Night Breeze-kun is dangerous now. I'm afraid that the first place in the class will not be able to be kept. What are you talking about? How could my brother lose? But Ino, that's ninjutsu, how can we normal people be able to beat ninjutsu? Hearing these discussions, the corners of Sasuke's mouth began to rise slightly, and his expression gradually exaggerated. That's right, I, Uchiha Sasuke, is destined to be the most beautiful cub on the court today. Mr. Iruka awkwardly maintained the order of the scene, and then reminded Sasuke, fire-style ninjutsu, after all, it's too dangerous. Today's test is mainly a physical test. Please don't use ninjutsu. Joke. The lethality of fire-style ninjutsu is quite strong. Let alone a group of children. Even his excellent Chunin teacher didn't dare to accept fire ninjutsu. Chapter 11. Hear Iruka's reminder. Ino and Hinata couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. But, as if Sasuke had expected this result a long time ago, he smiled contemptuously and said, "Oh, yes, ninjutsu is indeed dangerous for them. But that's okay, even if I don't use ninjutsu, I can still defeat Yamanaka." Quote. Accident. Surprise. I actually knew that fire-style ninjutsu cannot be used in this level of test. I just asked that, just to create an opportunity to tell you that I have learned ninjutsu. It's as witty as me. Brother, be careful, this guy feels very confident. Yazi. Ino reminded him beside Yi Feng. Yi Feng smiled and whispered, "Don't worry, I understand this guy, he is full of confidence in the first second, and he will definitely be hammered the next second. This is the kind of law that cannot be broken. The two sides are in place, please make the seal of opposition." Mr. Iruka announced. Yamanaka Night Wind, let you see the results of the special training that my brother specially made for me today. You must give some strength, but don't, I didn't exert any strength, you would fall down. Quote. When the second pillar came up, there was a light wave of pretending to escape. Yi Feng smiled casually. Special training. Interesting. His existence has changed the plot of Hokage's world. If Sasuke has received special training from Uchiha Itachi at this age, the starting point of the two pillars is much higher than in the original plot. What do you mean by this smile? Is it an ignorant smile? Yamanaka Night Wind. Sasuke was a little unhappy. I laughed because of self-confidence. Why are you laughing? But Sasuke's voice fell off. Yi Feng sprinted and rushed in front of Sasuke, raising his hand with a hand knife. Although it is different from the hand sword and the shinobi sword, but still cut off the momentum. Brush this knife down. Urzuzi instantly forgot the results of Itachi's recent special training. Too fast. How could this be avoided? This moment. Sasuke's heartbeat speeds up, his pupils dilate, and his expression is a little awkward. Hand knife. It eventually stopped on Sasuke's neck arteries. Yi Feng looked at Urzuzi with a smile, and said leisurely, "Urzuzi, this is the result of your special training. Are you sure you are not teasing me?" Humiliation. Too special humiliation. Two pillars gritted their teeth, and anger burned in his eyes. This moment, he finally remembered what his brother had trained him. He pushed the hand knife away from the neck with a palm, his body rose into the air, and his right leg swept towards the temple of the Night Wind. This move is very powerful. But, this is just a false move. The opponent usually raises his hand to resist. Then, the opponent's chest will be cracked. That time. It's time for Sasuke to launch his trick. Boom. Really. The Night Wind hit the routine. The corner of Urzuzi's mouth wanted to be picked up. But, a sudden pain came along his ankle. Sasuke felt his right leg hit a steel plate. The green veins on the forehead are straight. The expression gradually became ferocious. I have forgotten all the subsequent changes. Boom. Another pain came from Sasuke's lower abdomen. Sasuke was shot and flew out. Urzuzi, didn't you say that your brother helped you in special training? That's it. Are you deceived by your brother? Yi Feng frowned. But think about it. Uchiha has to be a double spy at 7. So busy. How can there be time to train the two pillars? Probably only occasionally gave Sasuke a sentence or two. Then, Urzuzi thinks he is doing it again. What are you arrogant? Just now I was careless. Next is the real me. You must be conscious of being crushed by me. Uchiha Sasuke got up from the ground with a sullen face. His eyes narrowed slightly. Also, I will remind you one more time at the end. No, be sure. Again, call me 2 pillar Z. Okay. Second pillar. Asshole. Sasuke let out a roar, and rushed towards the Night Wind again. But, what greeted him was another horrible hand knife. Do not. This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible. In terms of physical skills, I can obviously be close to my brother 5 times. Why is it so vulnerable in front of the night wind? Zuzi kept breathing heavily. The power to speak is almost gone. But his heart was roaring. His young mind seemed to be completely unaware that those 55 good times were just the sea that his brother gave him. Acknowledge your defeat. Second help, you are not my opponent at all, and I am not interested in torturing you anymore. Yi Feng shook his head happily, disappointed with Sasuke's performance. Give up. Hearing this is full of shameful words. Uchiha Sasuke gritted his teeth fiercely and said, since ancient times, there has only been Uchiha who died in battle, and Uchiha who did not admit defeat. Fire style Great Fireball Technique. Under the ravages of various negative emotions, Zuzi finally lost his mind. He still has a chance. He can also fire style. That is the sea-level fire style ninjutsu standing in the clouds of the entire ninja school. Boom! Uchiha Sasuke urged the chakra in his body to gather in his throat. Immediately afterwards, a fireball with a diameter of 1 meter was sprayed out. Although the fireball is not big, but the hot temperature stunned the friends. This is the power of fire style ninjutsu, so strong. Yu Feng won't be killed, right? Almost at the same instant, Hinata and Ino charged up. They wanted to save Yi Feng. But does the night wind need a woman's protection? With his backhand, he took off the bamboo knife that was hanging diagonally around his waist. The extremely pure chakra instantly attached to the surface of the bamboo knife, forming a blue chakra blade. Cut it all. The fragile bamboo knife cannot bear the power of the night wind at all. With a bang, the bamboo knife burst into pieces. The resulting impact formed a small blade wind, which cut open the oncoming fireball. The fire was flying everywhere, flying all over the sky. The night breeze has long hair floating. Refresh the nymph's recognition of handsome. This moment, Uruka was also shocked. The bamboo knife cuts the fireball. Is this the world of little geniuses? I really don't understand. The dazzling red light made Uchiha Sasuke's pupils a hint of redness. It's not that Sharingan is turned on. Instead, a night breeze with red hair appeared in front of Sasuke. Start with that cut. Sasuke's courage was completely shocked. Facing the night wind, he subconsciously wanted to cover his face with his hands. But Yi Feng obviously didn't let him go because he was a child. Yi Feng reached out and grabbed Sasuke's wrist and threw his body into the air. Then, bang, a kick hit Sasuke's cock. Whoosh, Sasuke fell into Naruto's arms again like a cannonball out of the chamber. Sasuke, what are you going to do? Did you mean it? Make it clear. Whirlpool Naruto disliked and pushed the helpless little Sasuke out of his arms. Then, thinking of what happened before, the two made a retching motion at the same time. Try to calm down. He put his hands in his hands. The teeth crunched. That means it seems to be saying, just wait and see. Me Uchiha Sasuke, I will never let you kick me in the future. After Sasuke gave a fierce face, is preparing to leave this training ground that makes him heartbroken. At this time, but Yi Feng dodges and blocks in front of Sasuke. His eyes were a little cold. Want to go? It's not that easy. Yi Feng is usually very friendly. Sasuke had never seen such a look in Yi Feng's eyes. A batch of him panicked now. Tears have been rolling in the eyes. But he was very strong and did not let the tears fall. What do you want to do? I lost everything, can't I go yet? Wouldn't you still want to make a mark of reconciliation with me? Don't be delusional, I will never reconcile with you. Quote. Zuzi spoke with him in his last stubbornness. Uruka sees this. He laughed awkwardly, walked in front of Yi Feng and Sasuke. Advise, Sasuke classmate, actually, it was just a discussion. According to the usual practice, the seal of reconciliation must be knotted. Please also cooperate with classmate Yi Feng. Uruka has just finished speaking. The night wind said lightly. Ms. Uruka, I think there is one thing you may have made a mistake. I stopped him for no sign of reconciliation. I stopped him because of his great fireball technique just now. The smoke he made was too big, choking Ino and Hinata. Therefore, he must apologize. Quote, although the great fireball technique is jokingly called the fire style that does not kill. But, if such a high-temperature fireball really hits the night wind, Yi Feng must be hurt. If it wasn't for Sasuke to be a child, and it wasn't really a murderous intention, Yifeng would never let Sasuke step down so easily. But, although Yifeng used the chakra blade to break Uchiha Sasuke's great fireball, but the splashing smoke and dust fascinated Ino and Hinata, who wanted to come on stage to rescue the night breeze. This is for the night wind. It is also a difficult thing to tolerate. So, the night wind stopped Sasuke and asked him to apologize. You are too bullying. The voice of Urzuzi was crying. Tears accumulated in the eye sockets. It seems that it will not be able to hold it anymore. Are you wrong? Quite wrong. Are you choking on Hinata and Ino? Isn't that smoke produced by burning your broken knife? Where does the smoke come from my fireball? Make me apologize. Still unreasonable. Brother, I think otherwise, let's forget it. Actually, it's not a big deal. Ino awkwardly pulled the corner of Yifeng's clothes. Such Sasuke-kun has lost its ornamental value. Brother is dear. Can't push again. If Sasuke's personality collapses, will there be any goals to pursue in the future? Yeah, Yifeng-kun, forget it. The kind-hearted Hinata also persuades. After all, everyone is a classmate, so you have to be forgiving and forgiving. Did you see it? As victims, they are all interceding for you. And you, the son of the Konoha security captain, are still arguing and don't want to apologize. Is this the glory of the Uchiha clan in your mouth? Quote. Yifeng's tone was dull. The final cut was made in Sasuke's heart. The garrison is an organization that guards fairness and justice in Konoha village. Uchiha Sasuke is the captain's son. Didn't you dare to admit mistakes when you did something wrong? This sentence penetrated Sasuke's young psychological line of defense. He closed his eyes. I cried out with a wow. I was wrong, Ino, Hinata. Sasuke closed his eyes, after uttering the apology loudly. It's black in front of me. Fainted to the ground. This. Shikamaru, what do you think? Akamichi Choji asked Shikamaru next to him while eating potato chips. Of course I looked with my eyes. Shikamaru curled his lips silently. Really troublesome guys. It was just a simple test, and it actually made this look. Subsequently, Iruka arranged for someone to take Sasuke to the infirmary. Then the actual competition continues. Yifeng didn't care too much about the actual combat in the back. Except when Ino and Hinata competed with their opponents, Yifeng took a look. Other times, he kept reminiscing about the scene where Sasuke fell. If Yifeng is right, Sharingan of Urzuzi actually opened his eyes. Yifeng's mood is a bit complicated. That's it. Is it eye-opening with just such a stimulus? Sasuke's fragility refreshed Yifeng's perception of him. It seems. Let's less stimulate the second pillar in the future. Let him open Mangekyo just in case he hasn't graduated. What should I do if the school is torn down by the Gundam again? The last match. Whirlpool Naruto lost to second to last in the class without any suspense. Steadily kept the first place. So far, the entire actual combat test ended successfully. No doubt, according to everyone's performance in this actual combat. The Night Wind is like Naruto. Keep the first place. Congratulations, Yifeng, please come to the stage to receive your certificate. Teacher Iruka smiled and looked at Yifeng enthusiastically. He has been engaged in education for so many years. This is the first time I have met such a fierce Yamanaka clan. Is the gene mutated? Yifeng walked out of the team with a flat expression. The reward for this kind of kid's game. The Night Wind is of no interest. Still podium, isn't it boring? Intel. Yifeng watched Mr. Iruka helplessly, and from nowhere, he moved out a wooden stake with a picture of a pink pig. First place podium, the sign and location issued by the system. Mr. Iruka, you dignified a 7-foot man with a pink pig wooden pier. What do you mean? But, it doesn't matter what it means. The Night Wind got his wish and stood on the podium. Feeling happy. It's so fragrant. Sign-in is complete. Ding. Congratulations to host for completing the sign-in and get the reward, Wind Style Grandmaster. Wind Style Grandmaster. The Night Wind froze for a moment, and was overjoyed. Night Wind has 7 talents with chakra attributes. They are yin, yang, water, fire, wind, thunder, and earth. Very complete. But, having the chakra attribute talent does not mean that the original chakra can be refined into a chakra with a status of belonging. Take the wind attribute chakra for example. If you want to convert chakra in its original state to chakra in a wind attribute state, you must first master the nature transformation of the wind attribute, that is, wind style. After the master had escaped, the ninja transforms the original chakra into chakra, and then through Jian, you can display the 5-flower 8-gate ninjutsu. So, wind style. In fact, it is a skill that transforms the original chakra into a wind attribute state chakra. Ninjas have different masters of escape, which determines the quality of escape chakra. And the quality of chakra, which determines the power of ninjutsu. This is why Uchiha Madara can shock the audience by extinguishing a fierce fire. Without him, it is because Uchiha Madara's fire style has been developed to the ultimate level. And now, Yefeng started wind style grandmaster. Although much worse than players like Uchiha Madara. But it has surpassed many ordinary Jonin. Of course, chakra surpasses Jonin, it does not mean that Yefeng already possesses Jonin's combat power. After all, in addition to a flat cut, he can only stand up and make an old concealment with hidden weapons. After school, Yifeng and his 2 little girls, as usual, went directly to the training ground. Along the way, Ino was chatting non-stop, recalling the matter of Yefeng versus Sasuke today. What Uchiha, what Konoha first ninja clan. Not enough to see in front of my brother. Great Yamanaka is about to really rise. And Hinata. Then Wenwen quietly followed Yifeng. The birds are like people. From time to time, she would take a peek at Yifeng, and then she would be blushing, her eyes full of worship. Well, little Ino, although my brother won, don't underestimate the Uchiha clan, the 2 pillars can't represent Uchiha. Yifeng said slowly. Beauty contact ninja, Gundam ninja, that's not just talking. Susanoo of Uchiha Madara can bring the 5 shadows to life. Cannot be underestimated. The training begins. Hinata's training direction is gentle fist. The Hyuga clan uses Byakugan's characteristics to realize chakra's attacks and defenses. Future. If Hinata can imitate Otsutsuki's silly 80 divine air strikes, create a new gentle fist technique. Then Hinata dances behind the night breeze, there is no problem at all. As for Ino actually wants to learn a knife like Night Wind. Because she thinks it's so rusty. She wants to be a sister when she grows up. But, Konoha village cannot live without Ino Shikacho. So, the important task of developing Yindun and inheriting the Yamanaka clan's secret arts fell on Ino's small shoulders. After all, want the Night Wind to assist? Is it possible? Yifeng walked to the center of the training ground. Flip the palm. In the body, wind-style chakra began to urge. Buzzing. A faint air current sounded, forming a small cyclone in the palm of the Night Wind. Although it seems like a breeze. But in fact, this cyclone is composed of countless tiny wind blades. Yifeng's palm felt tingling. No loss is the highest anti-injury escape technique. It seems, it is still difficult to imitate Reikiri with wind style. Yifeng shook his palm. The wind style cyclone disappeared without a trace. Try the effect of enchanting. The Night Wind controls the wind style chakra to flow into the blade like using the chakra blade. On the blade, instantly formed a thin layer of white wind on. It's not difficult to shape, but my knife. Although the wind blade on the Night Wind knife seems stable. But, those high concentrations of wind style chakra continued to rub the blade. Yifeng felt that the shinobi in his hand was about to fail. Hey, my newly bought ninja sword with 30,000 20,000 pocket money, do you have to spend it here today? Yifeng sighed. Nothing. Knife fee. Then I had to go to the cutting tool shop to find a lady and buy a new one. Pop. The chakra in the Night Wind continued to inject into the shinobi. Finally, this newly bought ninja sword can no longer withstand the friction of wind style. It broke directly into 4 sections. Hey, no wonder there are so few ninjas who engage in wind style enchantment, and you can't afford it if you don't have money. Whether it's kunai, shuriken, or shinobu, both can be used to enchant. After enchanting, let's say nothing else, the lethality must be improved. But, in the memory of the night breeze, there are not many ninjas in the ninja world who use enchantments. The lightning-style Chidori sword of the 2 pillars is enchanted on the Kusunoru sword sent by Orochimaru. Asuma's wind-style chakra knife is enchanted on a chakra blade made of expensive metal. Not to mention Killer Bee's current knife. He is Raikage's younger brother. Still a famous rapper. Can you run out of money? So, don't have money to play a hairy enchant. Fortunately, Yifeng has money at home. Isn't it a good knife? Just buy it. At most, let the young lady trouble. Hinata and Ino discovered that Yokaze's shinobi was unexpected. They stopped their practice. Come to Yifeng. Brother, what's the matter? What's the matter with your sword? Ino blinked cutely, as if he had discovered some new world. Yifeng-kun, the one you just, seems to be chakra in the state of wind attributes. Have you learned wind style? An admiring smile filled Hinata's face. Wind style. Brother, you can develop wind style when you practice knives. You are so talented, I think the responsibility of developing the shame should be handed over to you. I just practice the knife. Quote. A sly look flashed in Ino's eyes. She has been cultivating yin and escape recently, but she has not made any progress and she wants to give up. But, Yifeng quickly stopped her terrible thought. Let Ino practice level cutting. In case it becomes a muscular girl. Is that still beautiful? And, I have a gift for wool. I'm just an ordinary person. It's just hanging up. Low-key. Time flies, time flies. In a blink of an eye. 2 years have passed. During these 2 years, Yifeng completed many sign-in tasks one after another. The sign-in system is also relatively powerful. Now, Yifeng has mastered 2 escape techniques, wind style and fire style, and has also started some supporting ninjutsu. As for the shinobi, Yifeng has used countless good knives in the past 2 years. He feels a little embarrassed to let the young lady from the cutting tool shop serve him at every turn. But, his growth in the past 2 years is still very obvious. Yifeng uses wind style enchanted flat chop, can already split the boulder easily. Yifeng also tried the fire style enchantment. But, the temperature of fire style chakra is too high. Even the best ninja sword bought with 100,000 pocket money could not withstand the high temperature of the flame. Finally, Yifeng had to specialize in wind style. Emotionally, the intimacy between Yifeng and Hinata is also rising steadily. Although it is too young, the two did not have a clear relationship between boy and girl friends. But, words now. For example, Yifeng occasionally performed a touch to kill Hinata, or behaved a little more intimately. Although Hinata is still shy. But he is no longer shy enough to faint. Shame now, it's all because of sweetness. As for Ino, there is nothing to say. Tenten was fed dog food. Still have to be tired of being with the two. This tenacious willpower has allowed her to successfully develop the secret technique of the Yamanaka clan, the heart-turning technique. On the training ground, 3 extremely agile figures entangled with each other. The fist attacks between each other caused gusts of wind on the training ground. Yifeng, Ino, it's time to start. Hinata slapped the night wind with a volley, and then moved her toes to widen the distance from the night wind. Okay, I'm going to go. Ino also distanced himself from the two. Scratch both hands in the cutting tool bag. She threw a handful of miniature shurikens instantly. Swipe it. There are many shurikens, but each one was very precise and targeted towards the vitality of the night breeze. No mercy. To this, Yifeng was very pleased. Not in vain, he trained Ino for 2 years. The technology of this concealed weapon has already surpassed Genin's level, and even ordinary Chunin can't match her. Faced with hidden weapons, Yifeng casually pulled out the shinobi that was hanging diagonally behind his waist. The silver-white knife slashed across the sky. The shuriken was knocked into the air. He fought back in Hinata's direction. Hinata was wearing a white exercise suit and long purple hair that was reserved for the night breeze, dancing with the wind. She looked dignified, but didn't panic, and assumed the gesture of gentle fist 8 trigrams palms. 8 trigrams 2 palms. 8 trigrams 4 palms. 8 trigrams. 8 trigrams 16 palms. 8 trigrams 32 palms. 8 trigrams palms were shot instantly. All hits accurately where the shuriken has no blade. Bang bang bang. After a loud noise, shuriken that was knocked into the air again. Hit the targets distributed in all directions on the training ground. Although the shuriken failed to hit the heart. But, Hinata's performance is already very good. On the periphery of the training ground. The friends are watching. Inuzuka Tooth, Aburame Shino, Uzumaki Naruto, Haruno Sakura. It is the first time for the four of them to watch the training of the three of the Night Breeze. Completely plunged into a state of bewilderment. Is this the three of their daily training methods? It's too foolish. Aburame Shino pushed his glasses. Big drops of sweat slipped from his temples. Well, if it's me, I've probably been killed by Ino's shuriken. Inuzukaga sighed and directly admitted the difference. Yefeng-kun, so handsome, oh. Haruno Sakura's focus seems to be different from Shino and Ka. What she cares most about is appearance. Beauty is everything. Look, this is the man who recognized me. Yamanaka Night Wind. Uzumaki Naruto made a final conclusion. Beside the four of them, there are two friends. Akamichi Choji put on the appearance of having seen the world, calmly eating potato chips, and asked Shikamaru, "Shikamaru, what do you think?" Shikamaru lay silently on the lawn. I think Yefeng's special sister. If it weren't for Yefeng saying that he would treat guests after training, I would not have come to see them pretend to be. On the training ground, Yefeng flashed in front of Hinata, patted Hinata's head, his eyes were full of approval. Hinata, today's performance is good. 8 trigrams 32 palms is already a master. I will try to learn 8 trigrams 64 palms before graduation. 8 trigrams 64 palms is a secret skill of the Hyuga clan. After Dachung, 64 palm attacks can be issued in an instant. And, with the cooperation of Byakugan, the target of each palm attack is the chakra acupoint of the human body. Once the acupuncture point is hit, the chakra flow of the ninja will be cut off, which can weaken the opponent and is very powerful. As long as Hinata can learn 8 trigrams 64 palms when he graduates. Yefeng believes, during the Chunin exam, Hinata will definitely not be abused by Neji. Yefeng-kun, thanks to you. Hinata's cheeks were reddened, and he wiped the sweat bead on his forehead, looking at Yefeng with admiration. In Hinata's worldview, she was able to train into 8 trigrams 32 palms, not how good she is, but how good Yefeng teaches. So, what is a perfect wife? This is, hi, Yefeng, Hinata, the training is over, please invite everyone to dinner. Choji looked at the potato chips that had already bottomed out, and felt a little hungry. Haha, great, let's go eat ramen, I like it the most. Naruto, who is usually reluctant to eat ramen because of lack of money, made his own suggestion. Ah, what's so delicious about ramen? We are going to eat barbecue when we are growing up. I know a barbecue restaurant. The meat tastes very good and it's not expensive. Inuzuka Tooth said that he is a carnivore. Hand-pulled noodle. Just eat occasionally. Yefeng-kun. Actually, people have been keeping in shape recently, just give me some vegetarian food, so you won't be costly. Little Sakura emphasized her figure with a shy expression on her face. Either way, Aburame Shino said concisely. At this time, Akamichi Choji turned his head, glanced at them, obviously disgusted, and said, "What are you kidding me? If you just eat these, do you think Shikamaru will come? The Night Wind wants a big meal." A large forest outside Konoha village. The little friends followed behind the Night Wind and walked into the depths of the forest with dumbfounded expressions. Yefeng, didn't you say a treat for dinner? Why did you come here? Yeah, my sister often tells me, don't just go to the outer forest, there may be wild beasts. Yefeng-kun, or we should go back. Agree. Hearing Si Shaoqiang's noise all the time behind, Yifeng stopped and smiled calmly at them. Don't worry, the food delivery man will be here soon, and now I'll lose a lot when I go back. The food delivery guy. Si Shaoqiang was dumbfounded. At this time, 2 o'clock ahead, there was smoke and dust, and the trees collapsed. As if something was about to rush over. Immediately afterwards, a big white bear more than 3 meters high appeared in front of everyone. The big white bear grinned. There was a low growl in his mouth. The snow-white fangs were exposed, like a sharp knife. It is clear, for the big white bear, a human child who has chakra in his body is also a tonic. Fogweed, run away. Uzumaki Naruto reacted quickly, yelled directly, and then he was about to run away. But this time, Aburame Shino pulled Naruto back, pushed the frame on the bridge of his nose, forcibly said quietly. That's too much, can't run. Because it is impossible for us to run past a white bear of this size. The only thing we can do now is to unite and kill this bear. Quote. At such a critical moment, Aburame Shino's composure obviously gave his companions an inexplicable spiritual power. Although Ya and Shao Sakura were panicked, they nodded solemnly. Even Naruto stopped, preparing for a wave of explosions. But Yi Feng and the others were obviously not infected by Shino. Especially Akamichi Choji. The halazi on the corner of his mouth almost came out, staring at the white bear, and constantly wiping his mouth. See this scene. The big white bear is furious in his heart. My big white bear is the king of the forest. You little kids are not afraid to see this bear. Don't I need face for my big white bear? Roar. After a brutal roar, the big white bear slapped it towards the tops of the Xiaoqiangs. But when the slap of the big white bear was about to fall on the top of Yefeng's head, its movements suddenly stopped, and there was anthropomorphic confusion on its face. This human kid is not afraid of it. How can this be? Wow, it may be due to the close observation of the bear's paw. Akamichi Choji's halazi dripped straight down the corner of his mouth, and it was too late to wipe it. This picture, it made the big white bear furious. What do you guys mean? Is it greedy for the bear's body? Do you want to die? Roar. The big white bear let out a roar, kicked hard on its hind legs, and stood up directly, waving two bear paws the size of a grinding plate, and slapped each other, making an earth-shattering sound. As if to let Yi Feng them understand. What is a master? This scene, Aburame Shino, who originally wanted to kill the bear with all his strength, completely lost the courage to resist. Such a behemoth. They can't handle it at all. Visually, it's going to be cold today. But at this time, Yi Feng stared at the white bear solemnly and warned. Hey, don't pat the pair of bear paws randomly. 4 palms are the favorites of Hinata and Ino. Roar. The white bear was furious. This pair of bear paws belong to Lousy. Lousy can shoot whatever he wants. Use you. Boom. 2 bear paws with the size of a grinding plate set off a gust of wind and patted them directly towards Yi Feng's head. The big white bear is going to crush this reckless human imp. But at this time, the light of a trained knife slashed through the air. Boom. The white bear's head was directly chopped off by the night wind, and his huge body fell to the ground with a loud noise. To this, Yi Feng nodded in satisfaction. Although it is a bit expensive, but can hunt such a vitality white bear, Yi Feng felt that everything was worth it. Is it barbecue or simmering? Just when the 4 Xiaoqiangs still looked unbelieving and stood still. Yefeng has entered the next link. Let's barbecue. Akamichi Choji stepped forward intimately, patted Shino on the shoulder, and comforted. It's okay. Shikamaru and I were the same for the first time. Just get used to it. Just get used to it. What a foggy grass this is. Next, Choji and Shikamaru started to handle the white bears skillfully. First peel off the fur, and then separate the flesh and blood, and then drag it to the edge of the stream in the forest to clean it. Ino and Hinata put a special sauce on the meat of the white bear. Sakura and Shino set up a barbecue grill. Naruto and Ya brought the firewood over. The night breeze can be ignited. Yi Feng nodded. Both hands are knotted. Fire-style buffet barbecue technique. Boom. The fiery flame ignited the firewood. Soon, the bear meat on the grill gave off an attractive fragrance. After a while, the bear meat turned into a golden yellow with oil content and looked very plump. Okay, you can eat. Yi Feng cut off 1 forefoot and left it for himself to enjoy. The other forefoot was cut in half and divided between Ino and Hinata. The remaining 2 hind palms were given to the other 5 Xiaoqiang to share food. As for the body of the white bear, naturally, Choji is personally responsible. The 4 Xiaoqiang took over the bear paw that Yefeng had given them. Until now, they couldn't believe that all of this was true. After all, that big white bear, have we finished eating? Yi Feng grabbed the bear's paw, eating feastingly, like a cloud in the wind. The delicious bear paws exuded a vigorous spirit, which made Yi Feng feel relieved all over, and the blood became more vigorous. To be honest, the nourishing value of this wild white bear is not as good as Shikamaru's superb stag. But the taste is completely crushed. This is why Shikamaru is so afraid of trouble, and still often mixes with Yefeng and others. It's for this stuttering. Next, the picnic went very smoothly. After enjoying the delicious food, everyone quickly forgot the fear of being dominated by the white bear. After eating, the night breeze lay comfortably on the grass, sitting beside Ino and Hinata. The breeze blows. sunny. Such days are so comfortable. But just when Yi Feng felt the good life in his heart, a ninja running sounded not far away, although it sounds just passing by. But Yi Feng stood up vigilantly. The other party seemed to feel Yi Feng's gaze, and he also looked back at Yi Feng. Suddenly, a pair of scarlet eyes mapped into Yi Feng's pupils. Uchiha Itachi. Yi Feng frowned. The man wore a strong suit, an Anbu unique mask on his head, plus the pair of Sharingan. The night wind can basically be determined. The opponent is Uchiha Itachi. Speaking of Uchiha Itachi, Yi Feng hadn't seen him for a long time. From Uchiha Itachi's gaze, the night wind can clearly feel that Itachi's personality has changed. If Yi Feng remembers correctly, at this point in time now, Uchiha Shisui should be dead. So, Uchiha Itachi is no longer the Uchiha Itachi that Yi Feng knew before. The fate of Sasuke, I'm afraid it will change soon. Konoha Village. Anbu. Uchiha Itachi is reporting the execution of this mission to 3rd Hokage and Shimura Danzo. After the report is over, Shimura Danzo looked at him thoughtfully and said, Itachi, the old man heard. The Uchiha clan's opinions about the village are getting bigger and bigger recently. Therefore, in order to maintain the peace of Konoha Village, in order to prevent the glory of the Uchiha clan from being destroyed, I hope you can pay attention to the actions of the people recently, especially the actions of your father Uchiha Fugaku. Quote. 3rd Hokage sighed. Let the son monitor the father. This is really an inhuman task. But no way. Just like Danzo said. If the Uchiha clan really betrayed Konoha Village, they will bring unpredictable disasters to the village. So, 3rd Hokage just let Danzo give orders to Itachi, but didn't intervene at all. Even if he, 3rd Hokage, is in charge of Anbu. After all, the black pot in Konoha Village is carried by the old friend Danzo, which is very suitable. He only needs to be responsible for smoking cigarettes pretending to be unbearable. After half a month, jingle bell. The school bell rang for the ninja school. Teacher Iruka did not directly announce the end of school as usual. He tidied up the materials on the lecture table and announced, Classmates, tell everyone a good news. From today, everyone, as students in the elite class, can already learn 3-body technique. So, today everyone's school time will be delayed until 8 o'clock in the evening. Everyone can move freely after class now, but don't leave school, just eat dinner at school. After Iruka announced the news, the reactions of the students varied. For those students who came from civilians and know 1-3-body technique, they were very excited. After all, today will be their first official learning day of ninjutsu. But for those students who have already learned 3-body technique, delaying school is a punishment at all. Hey, I want to stay in school for dinner. It's really sad. Ino sighed. Although the meals in the school cafeteria are more balanced in nutrition, the taste is really average. Hehe, it doesn't matter, as long as you can be with Yi Feng-kun, you can eat anything delicious. Hinata whispered, her cheeks flushed immediately after speaking, as cute as ever. Yi Feng looked at the two of them, touched their little heads. But, compared to spreading dog food to others, Yi Feng is more concerned about the fate of Uchiha Sasuke. If Yi Feng didn't guess wrong, tonight, it's Uchiha's genocide night. Because, ninja school never drags down. Say what is the professor 3-body technique? Can't you wait until tomorrow to teach? The only explanation is that the school deliberately let the elite class end school later, just to prevent Sasuke from going home. Only in this way, it is more reasonable to save Sasuke's life in the process of the night of extermination. If nothing happens, after tonight, the second pillar will become the second pillar of bitter and deep hatred. Konoha Village will also decline in strength due to the destruction of the Uchiha clan, and begin to be challenged by other shinobu villages one after another. But, all this has nothing to do with Yi Feng. He only needs to protect the people he values. As for the others, feel sorry, not much interest. Just when the night wind brain made up for the dark side hidden underpiece in Konoha Village. Suddenly, the cheating system screamed, Ding! Host, please join Sasuke to the Uchiha clan to sign in tonight. The sign-in time takes 15 minutes. Yi Feng looked dazed. He just said that the Uchiha extermination has nothing to do with him. This counter-handling system has given itself a task. Although the task is rare. But life is more important. Uchiha Itachi's character has changed. He even wanted to kill his father and mother tonight. If Yefeng goes to brush the task, isn't that a proper gift to people? Since we are hanging out, just stabilize and become stronger. Why go to challenge Jiamu's bottom line? Anyway, the mission this time, Yifeng had already visually inspected it, and it was different from the previous mission of the cheating wooden stake. There are conditions for failure in this mission. As long as tonight passes, the mission will fail. As long as it fails, the task will refresh as usual. After figuring this out, Yefeng has already decided. This task. Give up. The 2-hour break after class ends. The school cafeteria is open. Akamichi Choji sat in the dining hall, eating the food that was not enough to cram his teeth, and couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Hey, it's so miserable. I have finished all the potato chips, and the meal is still so unpalatable. I'm not going to be hungry and thin. Hearing Choji's complaint, Ino laughed out loud and said, "Don't worry, Choji, depending on your rank, even if you breathe, you will get fat." After listening, the little friends couldn't help laughing out loud. At this time, Shikamaru sighed. The school meal is really terrible, or else after school, everyone will go to eat a barbecue to make up for it. Don't look at Shikamaru's usual appetite. But there is still a certain pursuit in terms of food. After all, it is the rich young master. It's normal to be spooky at all. Yifeng looked at them, smiled, and shook his head secretly. Classmate Sasuke, today is about to face the genocide after school, and we have to eat barbecue tonic. Is it too much? Thought of this, Yifeng glanced at Uchiha Sasuke, who was sitting alone in the corner. A bold idea emerged in Yifeng's mind. In the past 2 years, Uchiha Sasuke's mood calmed down a lot. Although he turned on Sharingan. But he did not show off in school. Because, when Urzuzi successfully controlled Sharingan, he already felt that he was different from others. It's just a bunch of little kids. Why did he Uchiha Sasuke show off in front of them? Is it necessary? Does it make sense? After all, Sasuke is not a person who pretends to be forced. At this time, Uchiha Sasuke is sitting in the corner eating. Suddenly, he seemed to feel a weird look at him. Sasuke looked back at that gaze. Yamanaka Night Wind. Sasuke Tsunere turned his head, ignoring Yifeng. I am a man who owns Sharingan now, how can I be familiar with a child in a small family? Hey, Zuzi, I am idle anyway, how about we make a bet? Although Sasuke wanted to ignore the Night Wind, but Yifeng took the initiative to attack, sitting opposite Sasuke with a weird smile, like a grandmother wolf looking at Little Red Riding Hood. Sasuke turned his head back, squinted slightly, a look of contempt in his eyes. First, I don't call pillars, my name is Uchiha Sasuke. Second, a bet, that's just something between your kids, I'm not interested in it. Third, I don't like you, please try not to be so close to me. Yifeng can't remember how long he hasn't spoken to Sasuke. This time, Sasuke was indeed shocked by Yifeng. When did the second pillar become what it is now? Was it passed by Sister Chu? So, you are a fire-style ninja, and I am a wind-style ninja. I have always heard people say that the wind-style ninja can't beat the fire-style ninja. But I think this law should not hold between the two of us. So, I want to make a bet with you to see if your fire style is good, or my wind style is good, how about? Under the persuasive temptation of the night breeze, Sasuke's interest really got hooked. What's the meaning? Want to challenge me? You sure? Although Sasuke was a little excited in his heart, on the surface he still pretended to be Furui Shirami, cold and ruthless. Fire style ninja is better than wind style ninja, of course this is the law. I just didn't have the same knowledge as you before. If you have to bet, I can accompany you to the end. But, what do you want to bet on? Quote, Sasuke's eyes were a little bit fiery, and a little bit reserved, and his emotions were very complicated. He waited for 2 years. Finally waited for this day. If he takes the initiative to challenge Yifeng, he will definitely be told that he is bullying the children of the small family because of his Sharingan. But now it's different. Now Yifeng took the initiative to challenge him. He can finally sacrifice Sharingan reasonably, blinding everyone's eyes. Sasuke had even fantasized about the scene after he defeated Yifeng countless times. He would probably step on Yi Feng's back with one foot first, and then let the breeze blow over his hair, telling Yi Feng loudly. Do you think I am Uchiha Sasuke, the same old Uchiha Sasuke? I'm standing in front of you. Let you take a closer look. I still look a bit like before. Sasuke's expression gradually began to be presumptuous. Although he doesn't understand Sasuke's specific inner activities. But Ye Feng knew. This kid has already taken the bait. The bet is very simple. Everyone is eating this meal very boring, so I want to bet on a barbecue with you. The one who loses is responsible for the roast, and the others are responsible for the kind of food. Yi Feng said. One side pointed to the 8 Xiaoqiang over there. After Sasuke listened to Ye Feng's bet, he smiled strangely. That's it, just for a meal. It really is a bunch of children. But whoever has an adult mind, who would gamble against Biren for such a thing? Okay, I promise you. School corner. Ye Feng chose a place that was not easy to find as the venue for his gambling fight with Sasuke. 8 Xiaoqiang is the audience. At the same time, also as a witness and beneficiary of this gambling fight. Uchiha Sasuke puts his hands in kabuto, the corners of his mouth are raised, and his handsome face reveals a confident smile. He just looked at the night breeze in such a breezy manner. Humph, Yamanaka night wind. In the past 2 years, I have indeed kept a low profile and no longer conflict with you. But you shouldn't think that I did this because I was afraid of you. I'm telling you, today, I, Uchiha Sasuke, is here to let you know what is the heritage of the Uchiha clan. For Sasuke, this kind of blind self-confidence and excessive arrogance. Yi Feng didn't care at all. After all, according to the practice of ninja world, Sasuke really needs to play a wave of pretending to escape first. Then it can be hammered. The process is over. The test begins. The two rushed towards each other at the same time, raised each other's right arms and collided together. Boom. Sasuke's face changed slightly. This collision is a collision of pure strength. Without any tricks. Absolutely hard steel. So, Zuzi said, this guy has really great strength. Immediately afterwards, the swift figures of the two were entangled together. After a tentative physical swing, Sasuke only felt a sudden heartache from the lower abdomen. Obviously, he was recruited, but, although Zuzi's expression gradually became grim, he did not panic in his heart. Isn't it just a wave of mistakes? My whole cards are not shown at all, okay. Then, Sasuke endured the pain from his lower abdomen, still with a confident smile on his face. He looked at Yi Feng and said lightly, Yamanaka night wind, your skill is really good. But, don't you think that just now is my full strength? Ha ha ha, Yamanaka night wind, I can tell you clearly. 2 years ago, thanks to your gift, my Uchiha Sasuke is no longer the Uchiha Sasuke I used to be. Today, I will let you see what is the foundation of the Uchiha clan. What is the true power of the Uchiha clan? Sharingan, come on. Uchiha Sasuke suddenly yelled at Ye Feng hysterically. Immediately afterwards, pick the blue veins in the eyes. A pair of angry Sharingan appeared in the sight of everyone. Uzumaki Naruto. It's so scary. Isn't Sasuke suffering from red eyes? Haruno Sakura. Red eye. There are too many. You shouldn't be stupid. It's obviously Sasuke-kun's new cosmetic contact lenses. So handsome. Akamichi Choji. This. Shikamaru, what do you think? Usually, when Akamichi Choji asked Shikamaru what he thought, Shikamaru will clearly tell Choji to look at it. But this time, Shikamaru did not pay attention to Choji, but stared solemnly at Sasuke's eyes, and solemnly explained. The eyes are the bloodline boundary of the Uchiha clan. They are called Sharingan. They are a very powerful pupil technique, possessing dynamic observation power beyond ordinary people. It is said that only a handful of Uchiha's geniuses can open their eyes, a pair of eyes stronger than Byakugan. Quote. After listening to Shikamaru's popular science, the friends couldn't help taking a breath. Stronger than Byakugan, which can see acupuncture points on the human body. Isn't the night wind very dangerous? The lovely Hinata is already a little worried about the night wind. Ha ha ha, Ye Feng, did you hear that? What he said is right. Sharingan is an incomparable power. Today, you can have a chance to be defeated by Uchiha Sasuke's Sharingan, which is also your kind of glory. Quote. Sasuke roared in excitement, his emotions reached its peak. But, just when his last word fell, the figure of Yifeng had disappeared from Sasuke's sight. Sasuke noticed that the night wind had disappeared. The heart beat fiercely. Sharingan sync started to spin quickly. As predicted, Sharingan has an extremely powerful dynamic vision. The wind of the night wind body flicker technique is fast though. But Sasuke still captured the trajectory of the night wind. This moment, in Sasuke's pupils, Yifeng's slap became incredibly slow. There is no secret in the movement trajectory in front of Sasuke's Sharingan. Then, Sasuke smiled faintly, and wanted to raise his hand to fight back. But, at this time, Sasuke suddenly found a very serious problem. He found that his movements, under his eyes, were also incredibly slow. Even slower than Yifeng's slap. The corners of his slightly cocked mouth were not fully cocked. Yifeng's slap has already been slapped over. Snapped. The sound is clear and loud. This moment, Uchiha Sasuke's expression became very strange. He has hidden these Sharingan for 2 years. 2 years. Now, he finally waited for the opportunity to open his eyes and abuse others. How could it be beaten again? And, under the observation of these eyes, Sasuke unexpectedly caught the feeling that the other party was pitying him from the subtle expression changes on Yifeng's face. What does it mean? I am the first family of Konoha village, the son of the patriarch of the Uchiha family. She started Sharingan's genius at a young age. Why do you have mercy on me? Are you joking? At the same time that Sasuke's subconscious madly outputs some messy information. Sasuke has been slapped and slapped by the night wind. See this scene. The friends called out for fun. Let you start pretending to be forced before you start the fight. Was hammered this time. Well, Shikamaru, is this the pupil technique you said is more powerful than Byakugan? Didn't feel any difference from before. I think what little Sakura said is right, it should be cosmetic contact lenses. Quote. Naruto stroked his chin. He showed a thoughtful look. Poor Sasuke-kun was beaten by Yifeng-kun again, but they are both handsome guys. It's really hard to stand in line. Little Sakura wants to cry without tears. There are too many handsome guys in the class, it's really hard to choose. The second pillar was buzzing with the head slapped by the night wind. When he listened to these ignorant voices around him, a strong sense of humiliation came directly. Yifeng, don't be too arrogant. Look at my trick. Fire style great fireball technique. Boom. Uchiha Sasuke frantically activated the fire style chakra in his body. Fiery flames rushed from his throat. The huge fireball is more than 3 meters wide in diameter. The power is amazing. This moment, Sasuke has completely lost his mind. Regardless of whether your life is in danger. Let's talk about the little master who abused you first. At this time, the harsh buzzing sound suddenly sounded. A silver-white wind light passed through the fireball. Everyone knows that it is the wind style of the night wind, and the power is quite amazing. I saw it. The flame in the center of the fireball, although under the action of wind style, has been strengthened a lot. But, the wind style chakra of the night wind is too strong. Sasuke's great fireball technique simply couldn't sustain this degree of change. After a short period of enhancement, it exploded directly on the spot. The fire was blazing. The dazzling red light suddenly reminded Sasuke of some bad past. He stunned Sharingan. Really. Before his gesture of releasing the great fireball had been withdrawn, Yifeng reappeared in front of him. Sasuke instinctively wanted to protect his face. But Yifeng had already unceremoniously grabbed Sasuke's wrist. Throw Sasuke into the air. This moment, Sasuke's expression suddenly became very exaggerated. He hurriedly stretched out his hands, trying to put them behind him to keep his bottom line. But Yifeng's legs are too fast. One kick hit Sasuke's cock. Boom. The 2 pillars were thrown into Naruto's arms like a cannonball out of the chamber. Well, Yifeng, can you stop kicking him at me in the future? There are obviously so many people here, if it is not enough, you can also kick the little Sakura. Quote. Naruto pushed the second pillar out of his arms with a look of disgust. I kept complaining. Little Sakura heard the good news and behaved a little bit convulsively, but the fine little Sakura in her head started laughing wildly. Come on, come into my mother's arms. My little Sasuke, I will take good care of you. Yifeng walked to Sasuke. He looked at the second pillar in silence. Suddenly, there was a sense of guilt in my heart. Is it really good to bully Urzu like this? But he thought of Sasuke's future experiences. Yeka suddenly felt that what he did to Sasuke was nothing more than a little evil, and it was far from the big guy named Kishimoto Masashi. The test is over. Yefeng successfully won the bet. Thus, wait until after school is over at 8 o'clock. Yifeng can take the big gang of Xiaoqiang with them and go to Sasuke's house to sign in happily. As for the threat of Annihilation Night, check out his circle of friends. It's not a big clan Tianzhou, or Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Who dares to move them? Even if Uchiha Itachi drives Gundam on the spot, 3rd generation and Danzo probably have to bury him. So, this time the sign-in task. Not a big problem. 8 p.m. School is over when the ninja learns to calibrate. Yifeng took the friends, followed Uchiha Sasuke mightily, and walked towards the Uchiha clan. On the way, Gen Shino, who was in charge of monitoring Sasuke, discovered this weird phenomenon. He decided to tell the leader the news first, and let the leader make the decision, so as not to get back to the trouble in the future. In Hokage's office, 3rd Hokage and Danzo sat across from each other. Among them, there is a chess board. But they did not play chess. Danzo, after tonight, Konoha village will be up and down, but we are doing this, is it really right? 3rd Hokage picked up the pipe, took a hard sip, and spit out a ring of smoke in Danzo's direction. Shimura Danzo frowned, waved to drive away the secondhand smoke surrounding him, and sneered. Ha, Hiruzen, have you forgotten what the teacher thinks of the Uchiha clan? The Uchiha clan is destined to be an evil clan. Now, since they want to betray, as the high-level Konoha village, of course we have to eradicate them decisively. Quote. But, Uchiha is also our comrade in arms and our companion after all. I think back then, old man. 3rd generation's eyes knocked the pipe, and there was a slightly sad feeling in the muddy eyes. Subsequently, he smoked a cigarette and talked about the past. Shimura Danzo listened to Sarutobi's nonsense with a grim face. But my heart sneered again and again. What a nostalgic 3rd generation project. If not, the two have known each other for a lifetime. Maybe he will be confused by 3rd Hokage's superb acting skills. Originally, follow Danzo's plan. He is going to let Uchiha Itachi cooperate with Nenin, and Nenin will complete the cleansing of the Uchiha clan. Finally, just put the charge on Itachi and let Itachi leave Konoha with the pot. But, Sarutobi Hiruzen, a scheming man, in order to prevent Danzo from taking advantage of the fire and robbing the Uchiha clan. He even succeeded in persuading Uchiha Itachi to let Uchiha Itachi do it himself and destroy the race himself. Uchiha Annihilation Uchiha. GT. Just thought of this. Danzo sneered in his heart. Sure enough, ginger is old and spicy. Dang dang. Come in. Shimura Danzo frowned as he looked at Genin who walked in. Didn't I let you stare at Sasuke? What are you doing here? Master Danzo, after the ninja school is over, Sasuke took a few classmates home with him, as if he was planning to have a class reunion. The subordinate originally wanted to stop them, but felt that doing so would easily arouse others' suspicion, so first come back and report the situation to Lord Hokage and Lord Danzo. But on the bright side, you still have to put Master Hokage's name first. Oh, classmate, 3rd generation sighed. This is really an eventful time. But, these little kids are too ignorant. If Sasuke gets involved, wouldn't it be a shame? HMPH, just a bunch of kids, don't bother, just let them fend for themselves. Danzo snorted coldly. The Gen Shinobu received the instruction, but did not see 3rd Hokage raise any objections. He felt that the action plan had basically been hammered out, and he was about to leave here. At this time, 3rd Hokage spit out the smoke ring in his mouth and asked an extra question. The old man remembers, that kid Sasuke, doesn't seem to have any friends, right? Who did he invite? Hear 3rd Hokage's inquiry. Genin stopped and began to report. Yes, Yamanaka Night Wind, Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji, Hyuga Hinata, Inazuka Toga, Aburame Shino, Whirlpool Naruto, and a civilian girl who cannot be named. 3rd Hokage listened to these familiar names. The excited pipe fell to the ground. Ino Shika Cho. Canine. Worm. Byakugan. Jinchuriki. Passerby. There is also a genius who has been hailed as the rare encounter of the Yamanaka family in a century, Yamanaka Night Wind. Uchiha Sasuke unexpectedly invited them at this time to go to the Uchiha family gathering together. If something goes wrong with this special code, Konoha village needs to be fried properly. This pot is too dark. It is estimated that the old man Danzo can't bear it. Danzo, hurry up, summon Nenin, let's go together, and we must not let these innocent teenagers in the village be implicated by the Uchiha clan. They are the future of the village. The Uchiha genocide has already happened. Although third Hokage will eventually throw the blame on this matter to Uchiha Itachi. But people in all major families are not fools. It's okay not to involve them. It's enough for everyone to let this matter go to a conclusion. But what if their child died in the Uchiha genocide? You see if they will come to the door collectively. Besides, there is a whirlpool Naruto. That's Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Danzo gave third Hokage a gloomy look. Innocent boy. When the old man wanted to let these innocent teenagers fend for themselves, why didn't you stand up and defend them? Now that you know your identity, you can start to maintain it. What an actor-level performance. On acting skills. I, Shimura Danzo, would like to call you the strongest. The Uchiha family live in Konoha village near the forest. Very remote. Besides, because of the particularity of the Uchiha clan in Konoha village, the parents of the Shaoqiangs will often tell them to go to Uchiha as little as possible. So, it's rare to have a barbecue at Uchiha Sasuke's house tonight. The friends are very excited. Of course, except Night Wind and Hinata. Yefeng-kun, I just observed it with Byakugan. There seem to be many Anbu ninjas around us, there shouldn't be any problems. A worried look appeared on Hinata's cute little face. Yifeng smiled, touched Hinata's short hair, and comforted. Don't worry, Anbu is a ninja who secretly protects the village. With them, we won't be in danger. Be honest, for this mission, the Night Wind also involved Ino and Hinata. Yifeng was very guilty about this matter. Fortunately, it is. The development of the matter is similar to what Yifeng expected. The Konoha executives would not let them face Uchiha Itachi alone. After all, whether it is the children of the big family or Nine Tails Jinchuriki. If there is a problem, it will definitely make Konoha village turbulent. Uchiha has been annihilated. If something happens to them again, even Shimura Danzo would not dare to be such a scam. Of course, if Yefeng finally finds that third Hokage has not sent someone to protect them, he will immediately fabricate a reason to stop this sign-in mission. Sure enough, the sign-in system has already started timing. Uchiha Sasuke leads the way. The other Shaoqiangs followed and walked with a smile. Suddenly, Hyuga Hinata let out an exclamation. Yefeng-kun, the people in the front house, seems to be dead. Hyuga Hinata closed Byakugan in fright, and snuggled into Yefeng's arms in fright. Still a child after all. I haven't seen the kind of blood. When the friends heard Hinata exclaimed, they stopped and looked at each other. Dead, or all dead, Shikamaru frowned. Actually, when Shikamaru first entered the Uchiha clan, the atmosphere here was a bit abnormal. Although it is a bit late now. But the Uchiha clan is too quiet. The silence made him feel a little uneasy. And now, the Uchiha clan responsible for the safety of Konoha village actually suffered a large number of deaths. GT, but just want to have a barbecue, why are you in such trouble? At this time, Uchiha Itachi has also completed the Uchiha extermination work efficiently. He is not leaving yet. What I was waiting for was a chance to meet my brother for the last time. He wanted to tell his brother that this world is very sinister and that only becoming stronger is the kingly way. Uchiha's future is yours. But when Uchiha Itachi saw that Sasuke was still following a bunch of little kids, he couldn't help but fell into contemplation. Itachi, who has already killed the Red Eye, doesn't mind killing them all. But those ninjas hiding in the dark are obviously protecting them. Especially among those ninjas, there are two powerful auras. If Itachi guessed correctly, that should be third Hokage and Shimura Danzo. Ha ha, when he killed the whole family alone, Konoha village had no ninja to protect. But for the children of other families, or even Hokage and Danzo dispatched. This moment, Uchiha Itachi suddenly began to wonder if the choice he made was right. shook his head. Uchiha Itachi's eyes regained his determination. Anyway, for the glory of the Uchiha clan, he must not allow the Uchiha clan to become a clan who betrayed the village. As long as everyone is dead, Sasuke stayed, then the Uchiha clan has not betrayed. In the future, once Sasuke turns on Mangekyo Sharingan, he, the older brother, will help his younger brother get eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. At that time, Sasuke can definitely become the Hokage of Konoha village. At that time, the Uchiha clan will get the most dazzling glory. This is Itachi's mission. After thinking about these things, Uchiha Itachi appeared openly in front of his younger brother Sasuke. My stupid Odudo, on such a night, what you are thinking about is a class reunion. You really let me down, so next, let you feel the pain of this world. Quote. Brokan expert Uchiha hit 7, resisting his brother's reluctance, imitating the tone of a person he had just met recently, and performed illusion Tsukuyomi on his younger brother. In the illusion, Uchiha Sasuke saw the whole process of extermination, and saw the process of his father and mother being killed by his brother. This approach is extremely cruel. But one doesn't 7 believe. One day my younger brother will be able to understand his painstaking effort as an elder brother. If you don't understand, just hit him until he understood. Although he is very likely to kill his brother accidentally. But it's okay, just let it go to the sea. One shot Tsukuyomi into the soul. Except for the night wind. No one understands what happened. They only saw Uchiha Itachi glared at Sasuke, then Sasuke fainted, and Uchiha Itachi disappeared into the night. Cogs of Destiny. It's so cruel and ruthless. Ding. The host stays in the sign-in area for full time. Congratulations to the host for signing in successfully and get rewards. Byakugan optimized version Grandmaster. After receiving the system reward, Yi Feng frowned involuntarily. Byakugan system. Are you kidding me? I followed Uchiha Sasuke to the Uchiha family on the night of Uchiha Annihilation, and completed the sign-in in front of Uchiha Itachi. But the reward for signing in turned out to be Byakugan instead of Sharingan. Are you operating on the show? It's not that Byakugan is not strong. Just look at Otsutsuki's silly white sweet. Byakugan's true strength is too strong. 80 God's air strikes can destroy 6-path Sasuke's perfect Susanoo. And Tensagan after the evolution of Byakugan is also a strong group. Only, as a member of the Traversing Army, I don't have a pink eye, and I always feel that I am incompatible with other personalities. Fortunately, it is optimized so that it will not be discovered by outsiders. Byakugan optimization. After opening, it has the ability of Byakugan, but does not have the form of Byakugan. In other words, at least Yi Feng doesn't have to worry about his father questioning his mother. Why does our son have Byakugan? Yin escaped Grandmaster. Byakugan of the Hyuga clan is essentially the result of Yin Dun and the blood of the Hyuga clan. So, when the Night Wind got Byakugan, he naturally got the Grandmaster. Let's go, take Sasuke to the hospital first. Yi Feng sighed, and watched Sasuke helplessly, falling at his feet. This moment, Yi Feng felt a little distressed for Sasuke. He suppressed the school. Go home. It will be compared with Itachi again. Yi Feng can be imagined without brain supplement. As long as it's a family gathering. Sasuke's relatives must have been around Itachi and praised Itachi 360 degrees without dead ends. As for Sasuke, there may be only one sentence. But it's Itachi's younger brother. Also great, such a two-pillar is still full of confidence in the future. This tenacity is really not easy. It didn't take long. Anbu's elite arrived at the scene. They took over Sasuke from Yefeng, and escorted the young masters and princesses to a safe place. Along the way, the little friends have a heavy atmosphere. Even Akamichi Choji, who was already starving, didn't clamor for something to eat. Shikamaru, what do you think? Shikamaru sighed. What else can I see? The entire Uchiha clan is lifeless. Anbu appeared. I didn't see a living person of Uchiha come out. There must be a big deal. Yi Feng stopped, glanced at everyone, and said. No one expected something like this to happen today. Let's go home first, don't think too much, we will have class tomorrow. Although Uchiha is annihilated, but life has to go on. Okay, let's go. Classmate Sasuke is still lying in the hospital, it is not suitable for us to eat anymore. Shikamaru said. Okay, goodbye everyone. Goodbye. The little friends went back to their homes with serious thoughts. Yefeng and Ino sent Hinata back to the Hyuga clan. Hinata, I'm sorry for what happened today. If it weren't for my bet with Sasuke, you wouldn't have seen those horrible pictures. Yekaz said. Hinata flushed, smiled softly, and whispered softly, It's okay Night Wind-kun, I'm not afraid of anything with you. Yifeng raised his hand and touched Hinata's little head. Apologetic. At the same time, Yifeng also secretly made up his mind. He must become stronger as soon as possible. Never let Hinata fall into any crisis again. The next day, ninja school still has classes as usual. Except for Sasuke's leave, the status of the rest of the students and teachers is not much different from yesterday. But Xiaoqiang is different. The experience last night made them feel particularly heavy. Although apart from Hinata, the other friends did not directly see the body. But in that atmosphere, the surrounding houses are full of dead people. The dim horror is also very deep. Recess. The friends gathered together as usual. Whirlpool Naruto and Sakura glanced at each other, and asked solemnly that Sasuke, is nothing wrong? After the two went home yesterday. Did not sleep well all night. But, as a civilian player, everything around them is the same as usual. What happened to the Uchiha clan seemed to have no effect on the whole village. Last night in the middle of the night, Anbu's ninja came to see his father, saying that it was Master Hokage who was calling for an urgent matter. But until this morning, my father did not come back. It is estimated that the matter is serious. Quote. Ino and Yifeng glanced at each other. Her face was full of worry. Ino doesn't care about Uchiha. She cares about her father, so don't let anything happen. The same is true for my father. Me too. This. Shikamaru, what do you think? Shikamaru sighed. The patriarchs of several big families were summoned by Hokage at the same time in the middle of the night, and they did not return overnight. Unless it is to play cards. Otherwise, it must be related to what happened to the Uchiha clan last night. And, on the way to school this morning, Shikamaru deliberately detoured the police department and took a look. The door is locked. There is no one. This is very abnormal. So, various phenomena indicate the Uchiha clan must be a big deal. Combined with the strange atmosphere of the entire Uchiha community last night. Could it be that the Uchiha clan defected? But if it really defected, why would the patriarch's son be left behind? Also Uchiha Itachi. What does that strange conversation mean? Feel the pain. It's really troublesome. Curiosity killed the cat. Although we are not cats, it is not good for everyone to guess like this. So everyone should eat and sleep. When everyone's father comes back, the news of the Uchiha clan should be announced. Quote. Yifeng held Hinata and Ino in his arms, comforting their emotions. The truth of Uchiha's extermination will indeed be hidden. But, the genocide will be reported to the whole village soon. After all, such a large group of people disappeared at the same time. Third Hokage couldn't hold it down. That's right, I agree with Yifeng's opinion, as long as everyone goes to class as usual. Our fathers are all patriarchs of the big clan, and if they are dispatched together, nothing will happen. Shikamaru said slowly. Then, Naruto and Sakura left the group chat. After school, Yifeng several people did not go to the training ground. Because both Ino and Hinata want to know the situation of their father as soon as possible. So, we will go back to each house today. Go home. Seeing his father's clothes hung on the hanger in the hallway, Ino asked, Mother, is father coming back? Is he okay? The mother stepped forward and took off the backpack from Yifeng and Ino, and said softly. Well, it's okay. Your father and the others haven't slept all night. They fell asleep after they came back. They are not awake yet. Oh, my father is fine. Ino breathed a sigh of relief and asked again. Right, did my father say anything when he came back? Your father said, the Uchiha clan, has been annihilated. Genocide. What a terrible word this is. To know. The Uchiha family is the strongest family in Konoha village. Overnight, all the masters of the clan were killed. If this is the case, is Konoha village still safe? Although third Hokage finally handed over the black pot to Uchiha Itachi, claiming that the genocide was a civil unrest of the Uchiha clan, a sudden and unpredictable killing. But, can this kind of speech make the big families believe it? Will the major families still treat him as third Hokage as before? About this question, Night Wind should have the most say. Because, he clearly remembered that after Orochimaru trapped Sarutobi Hiruzen in the 4 purple flame formations, few major families came to rescue him. Finally, third Hokage can also be regarded as seeking benevolence and benevolent, making a heroic sacrifice for the village, and at the last juncture of his life, he became one of the true heroes of Konoha village. There are still 3 years to face Orochimaru's demon wind, but my current strength is still too weak. Actually, it is not difficult to save Konoha's life during the collapse of the plan. When Chunin took the exam, most of the villagers have been properly resettled. If only to save lives. Yi Feng can take his family to find a place to hide. But, follow the urinary properties of this system. Let him sign in wherever it is dangerous. Beautifully called. The more dangerous the place, the more concentrated the luck. So, the level of Orochimaru, Yi Feng had to be fully prepared in advance anyway. And the so-called preparation, its power, hidden forest. Yi Feng looked around and there was no one, and opened the Byakugan that had been signed in. The 360-degree viewing angle is really a peculiar experience. Unfortunately, except for chakra, the entire Byakugan world is black and white. Byakugan is a pupil technique that originated from the Otsutsuki family. Has a 360-degree viewing angle. You can see through the acupuncture points of the body's meridians and the flow of chakra. But, Byakugan of the Hyuga clan did not show high abilities. Yi Feng didn't know whether the Byakugan trait he got was the style of the Hyuga clan or the Otsutsuki clan. If the future can be like Otsutsuki Wei Yoruichi, that can make a lot of money. 80 gods air strikes. Byakugan coercion. That might be so powerful. After getting acquainted with the functions of Byakugan, Yi Feng nodded in satisfaction. It turns out that you can control chakra more effectively as long as you see your acupuncture points and meridians clearly. Most ninjas possess multiple chakra attributes, but they cannot simultaneously create multiple chakra escape techniques in the body. But the Night Wind is different. After owning Byakugan, the Night Wind can clearly see every channel of chakra flowing in the body. Just through fine control, it is entirely possible to extract different types of chakra in the body at the same time. But, Hinata once told the Night Wind, if 2 different escape techniques chakra are fused in the body, the ninja's body simply couldn't bear the power generated by that fusion. It's pretty light to get caught up. It is said that there are all examples of body explosion. So, only a ninja with a special blood succession boundary can directly create chakra, a fusion escape technique in the body. For example, Tsunagaku's Yikang. Yikang has the blood inheritance limit of Scorch style. So, she can directly create Scorch style chakra that is a fusion of Wind style and Fire style. But ordinary ninjas can't do it. So, Yi Feng has another bold idea. Yi Feng consulted Hinata once before. If chakra cannot fuse in vivo, what about fuse in vitro? For this question, Hinata also specifically consulted Hyuga Hiyashi. Hyuga Hiyashi told Hinata that there used to be seniors in the clan who experimented with the idea of overnight wind. But, if you want chakra to fuse outside the body to form bloodline chakra, you need to have a very pure chakra. That predecessor spent a whole life of energy. In the end, he barely merged into a bloodline escape technique. But, the escape technique of external fusion cannot be directly used to perform ninjutsu, but only through a method similar to 8 trigrams air palm, chakra can be beaten out of the acupoint. Although the power is also good. But because the senior's life's energy was put on how to extract the high-purity escape technique chakra. So, on the contrary, his comprehensive combat power is not as good as the Hyuga people who do not practice escape. It is precisely for this reason. The Hyuga clan now specializes in Gentle Fist, not the escape technique. But the Night Wind is different again. Night Wind's escape technique can be obtained through sign-in missions, and can also be upgraded through sign-in missions. So, theoretically, as long as the chakra that meets the conditions can be extracted, Night Wind can almost master all the chakra blood limit. As for the fusion of chakra, it can't be used for ninjutsu, and it doesn't matter much, just develop other ways of using it. After careful consideration for a moment, Yi Feng clenched his fists and stretched out his thumb. A small strand of pure wind-style chakra came out of the night wind's fingertips. Immediately afterwards, Yi Feng stretched out his index finger again. A burst of fire-style chakra came out from the tip of the index finger. Next, its fusion. Yi Feng pressed his thumb down slightly, and carefully controlled the movement of wind-style chakra to fire-style chakra, fusing them together. Call. The wind pressure caused by wind-style chakra instantly increases the temperature of fire-style chakra. Scorch style. Wrong. This level of chakra should be far behind Yikang's scorch style. It looks like the Grandmaster level escape technique can't meet the conditions for chakra to merge. Although Yi Feng failed this time, but he was not discouraged. After all, his skills can be upgraded. As long as this approach is feasible, Yi Feng will definitely be able to master various chakra changes in the future. And Yi Feng has already figured out the development direction of the move. Just use finger pistol. A close draw and slash, a distant fight finger pistol. Just think about it. 3 years later, Yi Feng is 13 years old. Although from the perspective of age, Yi Feng is still a child. But because Yi Feng insists on physical training and medicated bathing every day. So, from the appearance point of view, someone will believe that he is a 15 or 16-year-old child. In these 3 years, generally speaking, nothing happened in Konoha village. Although due to the destruction of the Uchiha clan, Cloud Shinobi village added ninja troops at the border of the Country of Fire, and some small conflicts occasionally occurred between the two sides. But it is far from the extent of the outbreak of war. In the village, everyone seems to have forgotten the tragedy of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Sasuke also became more and more silent. He had no friends at all. Now, apart from Yi Feng and the others, no one would talk to him. Even the idiots, because of the existence of the night wind, gradually abandoned the cold two pillars. Hey, I'm going to graduate. From now on, we won't be able to stay together like this, so sad. Ino and Hinata sighed together. Student days are beautiful. Especially the three of them. Yi Feng almost stayed on every day. The three people lived very happily. But once graduated, it's different. After graduation, all students have to face class division, and under the leadership of a guide Jonin, begin to perform ninja missions. Sometimes, may go far away. It is said that a few months passed after a mission was performed. If you haven't seen the night wind for so long, Ino and Hinata feel that life like this will be very sad. How should I say, people all want to grow up, so don't be so pessimistic. Besides, if I will always be a student, how can I propose marriage at Hinata's house? Quote. The relationship between Yi Feng and Hinata has become clear. But, be clear and clear, 12-year-old Hinata is still a child in the eyes of Yi Feng. So, the two did not go too far. At most, it's just cuddling. Hey, I wish I could be in the same class as Yi Feng. Hinata snuggled into Yi Feng's arms and sighed leisurely. About the sorting of classes. The night wind is also very curious. Originally, if there is no night breeze, the 9 Xiaoqiangs in Konoha village are very easy to divide into classes. But now, one more night breeze came out. 9 Xiaoqiang became 10 Xiaoqiang. So, how will 3rd Hokage be divided into classes? The three of them leaned together, watching the setting sun, thinking about each other in their hearts. At this time, Whirlpool Naruto walked over from a distance, looking very depressed. Hey, there are too many rumors, what's the matter? Yi Feng smiled and greeted Naruto. Naruto was shocked when he heard the sound. But soon, the mood fell again. Hey, Yi Feng, the graduation exam is about to come, but my clone technique. I can't learn how to learn it. But I really want to graduate and become a ninja. After all, I will become Hokage in the future. Quote. That's a lot. Clone technique is actually very simple. I really don't understand why you can't learn it all the time. How to do Hokage like this? Ino looked at Naruto and asked with a grin. Hinata also nodded. Although the family style of the Hyuga clan does not use ninjutsu, but the basic 3-body technique, it is still very simple to learn. The ghost knows what's going on. I follow Iruka's instructions every time and carefully control Chakra's avatar, but Chakra will be disordered and can't be distinguished at all. Naruto's eyelids drooped, very helpless. Don't worry, there are many, I believe you can graduate, even if clone technique fails, it doesn't matter, look a little bit, you can. Yi Feng glanced at Naruto, then smiled comfortingly. Obviously, he can understand multiple shadow clone in seconds, but he can't learn ordinary clone technique. Really, as the protagonist, it just needs a little personality. 3 days later, the graduation exam is over. In Hokage's office, third Hokage was smoking a pipe, a sad expression on his face. Graduation division. How exactly is it appropriate? Normally, for things like graduation and class placement, Hokage doesn't need to go out in person. But, third Hokage is the honorary principal of ninja school after all. So, the final decision has to be made by him. The combination of Ino Shikacho is the least suspenseful. Although there are 2 candidates for the Yamanaka generation. But, everyone knows that Yamanaka Nightwind is taking a tough route and is not interested in the secret arts of the Yamanaka clan. So, Ino Shikacho can be composed of Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akamichi Choji. As for Byakugan, Worm and Dog, the 3 of them are good at investigating, and it is more reasonable to form a small team as an investigative team. Then what? Yamanaka Nightwind, Uchiha Sasuke, Naruto Whirlpool, what should the old man arrange? Uchiha Sasuke, Uchiha's little genius who started 2 Tomo Sharingan. The only descendant of the Uchiha clan in Konoha village. So, the most suitable guide for Sasuke, Jonin, is Hitaki Kakashi. After all, Kakashi also has Sharingan, which is known as a copy ninja. Then, Kakashi is again the disciple of 4th Hokage. It would be most suitable for him to guide Uzumaki Naruto. So, let Ye Feng join Kakashi's team. Although with the strength of Nightwind, he must have such qualifications. But, according to the practice of Ninja World, every team needs a girl to join. Girls are more attentive when doing tasks. It can also play a role in some adjustments between the 2 boys. Haruno Sakura is actually very suitable. But what about the Nightwind? Let him team up with other students. But this year, except for these 3 teams just now, the level of other students is very average. If Yi Feng teamed up with them, wouldn't it be a drag on Yi Feng? That way, the Yamanaka clan will definitely have opinions. It's hard to be a Hokage, and it's even harder to be a responsible Hokage. Third Hokage stood at the window, looking at his head-on Hokage rock outside, took a cigarette, and sighed, as if in a predicament. Otherwise, meet this kid first and see what he thinks. The results of the graduation exam are out. The friends graduated successfully and received their own ninja forehead protector. Next, they just have to wait for the result of the sorting. Training ground for the Yamanaka clan. Yi Feng is practicing knife alone. Ino was taken to Shikamaru's house by his father. There is no suspense about the Ino Shikacho team. So, there are many things. The old generation of Ino Shikacho needs to be passed on to the new generation of Ino Shikacho. Hinata did not come to look for Yi Feng today, because the Hyuga family wants to celebrate graduation for Hinata. So, Yi Feng can only practice the knife alone on the training ground of the clan. Clang, 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 the Nightwind slashed at the stake without hurriedly. Although the action is the same as a few years ago. But, the rhythm of each knife is more stable. In these 3 years, the Nightwind has improved a lot through the mission. Flat cut penultimate, the hidden weapon penultimate. Wind style is also penultimate. He also started the Grandmaster of Physical Skills, Grandmaster of Swordsmanship, and Grandmaster of Ninjutsu of Wind and Fire. But, the fire style of Nightwind still stays at the level of Grandmaster. So, the fusion of Bloodline chakra through Byakugan is still not progressing. But even so, the Night Breeze now, the strength has also reached the level of Jonin. It's just that the wind is low-key and doesn't show up in front of others. Yi Feng practiced for a while. Suddenly, an Anbu female ninja with long purple hair and a tall figure appeared in front of the Nightwind. Yamanaka Nightwind, Master Hokage, please. Yi Feng finished his last cut, wiped his sweat, and looked at the opponent. Purple hair, Anbu, saber. If Yi Feng didn't guess wrong. This female ninja is mostly Azuki Yuyan. There are not many masters who use knives in the village. Have you ever been interested in 2 tricks? I have never played against a ninja who uses knives. Faced with Yu Yuxian, Yi Feng made this request. Under the mask, Uzushian's expression became a little weird. A student who just graduated from the ninja school challenged her and elite. The courage is not small. But such small swordsmen, who like to practice knives since childhood, are indeed becoming rarer and rarer. So, face the challenge of the night breeze. Uzushian didn't want to disappoint him. But after all, the task is important. Uzushian can't waste too much time here either. So, Uzushian decided to let Yifeng, the little guy, see what a master is like. Of course, if Yifeng could comprehend something from her stunts. It is also the luck of the night wind. Okay, I promise you, but I can only do one thing. Konoba Swordsmanship Obscure Moonlit Night. Mao Yushian drew his sword instantly. Shinobi brandishing. In front of Yu Yushian, there appeared a remnant of a sword like a full moon, which was so beautiful. Buzzing. Countless afterimages that made people unable to distinguish between the real and the virtual, shrouded the whole body of the night wind. Of course, as an excellent swordsmanship ninja, Azuki Yuyan will naturally control her ninja, and will not really hurt the night wind. She just wanted Yifeng to take a look. What a real swordsman is like. However, just when Azuki Yuyan made a move with a guiding attitude, Yifeng drew a shinobi sword from his waist. The silver-white knife slashed across the sky. The hazy moonlight seemed to encounter daylight, and the moonlight was instantly covered up by the big day and disappeared. Brush. Yifeng retracted the knife into its sheath. His expression looked a little lonely, and said in a low voice. Hey, it's a pity that I was born late. I can't see White Fang's sword skills. I'm leaving. Uzushian still maintained a posture of waving a knife, looking at the distant night breeze. Her mood was a little unspeakable. Suddenly, a breeze blew by. A strand of purple hair was curled up by the breeze, and circled in front of Yu Yushian's eyes, and drifted away in the wind. Gurgling, Yu Yushian swallowed, took off the mask, revealing her delicate face, and smiled bitterly. It's no wonder that Master Third Generation can be so fancy. He is a genius like a monster. So, why did a boy like this get low-key comments in the 13-year-long Third Generation intelligence? Do not ask. Asking is God's will. 13 years. Although Yifeng is the eldest son of the Yamanaka clan. But he came to Hokage's office for the first time. Yifeng, come so soon, sit down. After Third Hokage saw Yifeng, a kind smile appeared on his face, indicating that Yifeng could sit down, and there was no need to be cautious in front of Grandpa Third Generation. Lord Third Generation suddenly came to me. Is there anything wrong? The night wind calmly looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although I know it may be related to the sorting. But he asked politely. Third Hokage smiled and slowly said. That's it. After you graduate from the ninja school, you need to be divided into classes. Originally, as the eldest son of the Yamanaka clan, you should join Shikamaru and Choji and inherit the will of the older generation Ino Shikacho. But since your family decided to let your sister take on this role, what do you think of your own arrangements? Quote. Yifeng looked at Third Hokage quietly. Actually, Yifeng originally didn't think highly of the purpose of Third Generation. But Yifeng just noticed a detail. He saw that Third Generation wanted to pick up the pipe, but he seemed to hesitate again and put his hand back with difficulty. This process is very short. It is entirely out of instinct and rational resistance. It's not like acting. Look at it this way. Third Generation seemed to worry that Yifeng would follow him to smoke secondhand smoke, so he resisted the urge to smoke. So, in terms of human nature, the Third Generation is not considered to be a big evil one. Only, because of his inaction in his life, he attracted criticism from future generations. If Nine-Tails Night 12 years ago, it is not Fourth Hokage but Third Hokage who desperately sealed Nine-Tails. So, Sarutobi Hiruzen can definitely become a Konoha hero like First Generation and Second Generation. Such a pity. The old man missed the opportunity. Although I want to use textbooks to turn things around. But the black stains of a lifetime are left behind. No matter how you wash it, it won't be white. Fortunately, he also has a good apprentice, Orochimaru, who finally made him a hero. As for the division of classes, I have actually considered it. I hope I can be alone in a class. I don't need to team up with other people, and I don't need to guide Jonin. Yifeng said slowly. This idea, the night wind has been there since a long time ago. First, 9 Xiaoqiang's placement model is very reasonable. Yefeng didn't want to take them apart. Secondly, over the years, sometimes Yefeng will also receive some sign-in missions to strange places outside the village. If he can't act alone, it would be very troublesome to complete the sign-in. In case he encounters a task like Peppa Pig steaks again, wouldn't it be stuck for a long time again? Time does not wait for me. So, take this opportunity. Yifeng said his thoughts. All alone, you don't need to instruct Jonan. Third Hokage's muddy old eyes widened, showing an unbelievable appearance. I have to say, your idea is very bold. Although, just before the night wind arrived, Mao Yuxian had already returned to report the task first. Third generation already knows that Yefeng is quite accomplished in swordsmanship. But, Yifeng is still a child no matter what. High-risk occupations like ninjas. How can it be done by one person? Yes, alone. Otherwise, Master Hokage thinks who is eligible to be my teammate. Yifeng said unceremoniously. Seeing Yifeng's determined appearance, third generation suddenly wanted to smoke again. The kid from Uchiha's family also came to find third Hokage and expressed that he wanted to be alone, but was warmly rejected by third Hokage. After all, don't you have any points for your own level? Let yourself be a class. In case something goes wrong, the fellow Itachi is afraid that Hokage will kill you deliberately. But the night wind is different. Azuki Yuyan said in the original words that Yefeng's knife is terrifying, giving her the feeling of being an elite Jonin. Admittedly, you can't become a good ninja with one hand of swordsmanship. But, with Yifeng's current strength, it is indeed not suitable for development from scratch. But then again, if his Hokage really lets Yifeng perform the task by himself as soon as he graduates. Can Yamanaka Hayaki agree? The children of the big race are not easy to be resettled. Yefeng, you don't understand the world of ninjas. It is too dangerous to perform tasks alone, and there are many inconveniences. Besides, have you told your father about this idea? Third generation finally couldn't help but took out the pipe, put out the fire, and made a fake smoking action to comfort himself. These children are really not worrying. Come step by step. Is it not good? Actually make the problem so troublesome. I will persuade him myself, as long as Master Hokage agrees. Yifeng glanced at third Hokage silently. I don't understand the world of ninja. I have been holding back the blog after reading it. Are you telling me that I don't understand? It's troublesome. Hear Yifeng's answer. Third generation slammed the pipe and fell into a moment of contemplation. I really envy these young people. High spirits, dare to do it. The old man is old after all. He was so hesitant to even make a decision. Just when the third generation project was ready to be finalized. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door of Hokage's office. Third generation was taken aback for a moment, and said please come in. Subsequently, a bold female ninja with short purple hair walked in. Old man, the task is complete. This is the scroll signed by the employer. The female ninja threw the scroll at third Hokage carefree, then took a look at Yifeng with interest, and asked. Old man, who is this little guy? He looks pretty handsome. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.